Welcome to the Condor DM show. I'm not just, I'd be up for like 15 minutes. I had a nap when I got home. Very long day. Didn't get much sleep last night. Then I had a nap. And then I'm like, let's screw it. I could wait to wake up a little bit longer. But I said, no, I want to jump on now. Right. I had a busy day today. I got a little bit of sleep last night and I got woken up early because I had to go out and do stuff. And I went out and did stuff, right? Got a lot of stuff done, which very happy about. Yeah. Yesterday, I mean, most of the day, I had a very relaxed day. Very, very relaxed day. First day I've had off away from content and life and everything else. And just, I did laundry. I did a bit of reading. I watched a movie. Very purposely casual, purposely laid back, like a focused day off. That was yesterday, a focused day off. And yeah. Woke up to hear about people complaining. I'm like, yeah, all right, sure. All right, go ahead and complain. I had about I probably tossed and turned. I had a hard time sleeping last night. And I think I had like maybe 3 hours of sleep. And then I just got up early and people were telling me people were complaining. And I'm like, it's part of life. Go about my day. Went all day. Got home, had a nap. And I felt like I overslept on the nap, like an hour or so longer than I wanted to. And I got up and said, okay, screw it. Just get ready and go on. Here I am. Early, you are. You are. I just got on a minute or so in. Wow. I'm early. I've been up from a nap for about 15 to 20 minutes. And I started this. I was just saying, Miles. I had like a last night. I had a day off yesterday. First real day off from content and life and work and everything, and just a day to myself. And I purposely didn't do any work. Like, as far as I did laundry, I read, I watched a movie, I relaxed, right? And then for whatever reason, I tossed and turned for a few hours. I get about 3 hours of sleep, got woken up early to go do a bunch of stuff. Got up early hearing about people complaining. Let me fix this. Oh my. This is me rushing, right? I got up early. And then I had to go do a bunch of stuff all day. By the time I got home, I was like dead tired. I got 3 hours of sleep, so I was dead tired. I had a nap. I probably slept an hour more than I wanted to, and then I hopped in here. Here I am. No plans on any subject tonight. None at all. I mean, to be honest, just yeah. I guess there were some people just out and about in the world complaining about me, multiple people, and then there was some complaining comments I got when I first got up. I was like, oh my, okay, people are not happy today. But what am I? I'm just too half. I'm too tired to care. Not tired now, but sort of like too half awake. But here I am, like 15, 20 minutes in. I don't know if I advise to jump on streams when you're still getting up. Like I'm up. Like I'm up. But I'm up. Like I make sure I'm all good. Black Rose. Yeah, I think I got up with about 3 hours of sleep this morning, and there was Black Rose talking to me this morning on Discord for a minute, telling me somebody was complaining, and I was like, it wasn't the only person. I had like two other people telling me there were some like other people complaining too. Like, what about these people over here? I'm like, yeah, multiple people are not happy with me. I'm like, that's a daily occurrence, guys. Like, just normal. I ignore most of it. And then, like I said, when I got up from my nap, I went out after I talked to Black Rose. I went out all day. I had to fucking be like yesterday was a day off, like a real day off of doing nothing. First one in a long time because no content, no life, no work, no like nothing in life going on. Just being a vegetable, like doing laundry, like I said, reading a book, watching a movie, relaxing, and with the intent to do so because I needed to relax. I got home after being out and about all day on like 3 hours of sleep. Probably like slightly less than 3 hours, but I keep counting it as 3 hours. And then I had a nap, which was probably an hour more than I wanted it to last. And then I got woke up, and within 15 to 20 minutes, I'm here. Like I woke up, just downed a glass of water, like really fast, washed myself up, woke up, here I am. Oh, well, it's a movie I'm considering checking out later, so I purposely watched it. Oh, let me get the name of it. My brain just half here. Oh, I should just know it because it's so famous. Monty Python, the Holy Grail. I didn't even have to find it. It started just coming to me as you're speaking. Monty Python movie, the comedy. It was good. It was good. It was a good watch. I fucking laughed my balls off. You are what I eat. You know, that's why I eat meat. You're a meatball? Hey, meatball. What's up, meatball, baby? No plan on a topic. I mean, hey, Zay, what's up? What's up? Nice to see you. Actually, getting here early. Um, yeah, I have no plans on anything to talk about. Like, this is off script. I'm just here. Oh yeah, Monty Python. Very good, man. Good for a good laugh. Good for a good laugh. Good for a good laugh. Yeah, that like just no mental plans for what to talk about. Just here to respond to you guys. I mean, look, put it this way: if you guys all went, I'll come up with something. But even on 15, even being awake for 15 minutes, I can go. I can go. If you said Steven, go. I can go. I can't be like some other YouTubers that are not are people that would be on Discord. Like there's some again, you guys know my take. There's some YouTubers on here that are just they're not real YouTubers. I don't know. I'm not trying to insult people. I'm just trying to say in my standard, I'm looking at myself. Like I would never get on and sit here and be quiet for minutes. Like I'm my job is when the camera goes on, it's time to talk to you. It's time to talk. It's time to be a YouTuber. It's time to be someone who entertains people. So we can be personal, but I would never just sit here for long periods of time. Like I don't mind taking a moment to look something up. Like, give me a second, guys. But it's like, well, if it gets to like a minute, man, I'm already no, I can't do that. Like I start getting uncomfortable. I got to talk because I'm here to entertain. That's it. I take YouTube serious in that way. Just need to talk. I just can't sit here and be that casual. If I want to be that if I wanted to be that casual, I would invite people on to Discord chat. Like there, I wouldn't feel the same pressure because then it's not like I'm here to entertain. I'm not there to entertain an audience. I'm shooting the shit with friends, right? That's the only intent, right? Like here, anybody could show up, and there's lots of people in my audience that are not personal with me. There are some, but I never know. Somebody might want to speak up from the audience every so often. That happens. That's how we get some of the guys starting to speak up more here. They've been here for a while. They finally speak up and they get comfortable speaking up, which is good. I'm happy about that. But on Discord, I mean, if you're chatting with me there, I don't mind like going, okay, guys, give me a minute, like, or just sort of why somebody's talking, be quiet, or you might hear me just go randomly quiet for a minute because I'm looking something up, right? But listening noise. But it's like once I get to YouTube, I'm like, no. It's like now it's a different game because here I'm entertaining people and I never know who's watching, right? So off script, what was the most tragic character death you've ever seen, either DMing or playing? Like just tragic. It's a story I remember, ironically, not from in person. I remember years ago when I started my early campaigns online. Just this is the top of my head. I might remember something more detailed later, but that's just a story I've told many times. And it wasn't a tragic death of one character. It was the way the group got wiped out that was tragic. They had played quite a few sessions, did pretty well, and there wasn't much fighting. Like they're avoiding a lot of combat. They've gotten to level 2. The thief even got to level 3, and this is with one small fight. Note, most of their experience is gained from just getting stuff, doing stuff. And so they're going to finally have a real encounter, a tough one. But they have played. I probably had them go through 8 sessions to get up to this point. They're level 2. Again, the thief is level 3, and they're going to meet up with a group of hobgoblins, and one hobgoblin has a bow. That's it. Has a bow. One hobgoblin in the group has a bow. Now they're actually going to see this group coming out of the forest, and it's going to end up being like a very forward fight. No surprise, no shock. They don't try to hide. The players react really poorly to the whole thing. Other than the wizard, for a moment, hides under, or no, the cleric. Sorry, the cleric who should be willing to fight hides under a wagon when they first come out. Gets scared. The player even gets terrified. But they don't have that many in the player group anyway. They see this group of hobgoblins, and they're all going to sort of hit to each other. And the wizard is actually going to hit up the fighter. I'm like, I can't look. I can't tell you how to play. I don't care how you play. To me, as long as you play the game, that's my only take. So if you do really terrible things, I don't get annoyed with your decision. I don't tell you that you're doing it bad. Look, as long as you're focused on the session and you're paying attention, that's all I want from a player. I don't have any other rules. If you play stupidly, that's on you, and I will not express how I feel about how you play. So here he is hitting up with the wizard. I'm like, okay, like has the staff. He's gonna hit up. I'm like, thinking, what are you doing? What are you doing? The cleric is now hiding under the wagon. The cleric can actually probably handle a bit of a fight. Cleric, very terrible decisions. The thief is going to hit into the forest and go into the sort of stealth type of situation. And they have a ranger, a fighter, and a wizard that are going to hit up on this group of hobgoblins. And most of the hobgoblins have like swords. They're moving in to fight. So they've encountered each other, and this is the reaction of the player characters. And they don't even try to negotiate with the hobgoblins. They start pulling their weapons. And the second they tell me they pull their weapons, the hobgoblins are like, the hobgoblins react to it like, okay, draw your swords. Like one just tells the others, draw your swords. He's like sort of like pretty much a leader of the group. Okay, no negotiation. They're going to hit up. Now the players are making just absolutely terrible decisions. Now note, before this, they're making okay decisions. Regardless, they hit up on these hobgoblins to go into combat with the ones that are in melee. But one hobgoblin stays back. One drops to his one knee, gets his arrows ready, but he's watching to see what happens. He's looking around to see if there's anybody else sneaking, like the rogue. Okay, so this is all happening. They're all hitting towards each other. Ranger, fighter, wizard, cleric hiding, thief off in the forest. Okay, because they're on an open road. I know they've all played okay at this point, but they're going to hit into this fight. Now, you'd think the melee fight would go really bad with the wizard up there, and the wizard does go down at one point, but they actually start eliminating. Like the ranger and fighter tear through the hobgoblins. There is no doubt. And the thief, he decides not even to take part in the fight. He's actually going to go look for a potential camp. Not joking you. Cleric stays under the wagon. Okay. All right. They're looking bad, but there's still like 2 hobgoblins left. Finally, the archer or the one with the bow, the hobgoblin with the bow, sees open shots because all his friends are going down. He can't really see where the rogue is, so he starts firing. He's going to take down the fighter. Uh-oh. Cleric sees this happen, and Cleric's like, okay, I'll get up under the wagon. And so we're doing okay. I'll hit out to try to help. All right, he gets up there. The ranger's having a bit of a problem with the last two guys. The archer is going to take down the cleric with like great shots. Bang, 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 you're dead. You're out. Ranger heads up because he has found a small camp, but he's hitting back. The bow guy sees him because he's not hiding well. We do checks. Bow guy takes him out too. They're all not dead, though. They're all bleeding and not dead. Ranger is still going. He's down to one hobgoblin. Well, he takes out the one hobgoblin, but then the archer takes him out. There you go. And that was the first group of guys on Open RPG. That's what Tragic was one of the first like online groups I ran. And they did like 8 sessions. They actually got up to that point, and we had to start over. I had to start over with 5 different groups before we got passed on full level 3. Now, I'm not trying to meat grind the game, and you can just hear bad decisions being made. So, like, I don't purposely have my games be meat grinder. The idea is you are meant to learn. 2 of the players left that game. They were quite upset with the whole thing. They were not happy. They were very not. The rest stayed because they really enjoyed the overall game experience. And 2 came back. Both that quit came back looking to game later. He never got back in, right? But it was tragic because it was like it was just so much. It was so much built up to that point. It was like the first online group, so that was the first time I could tell these guys were all guys that had little to no experience with gaming. And they were all guys that probably been around the hobby for a long time. They maybe played a game with their friend. There's a lot of half-assing in how things go, but it's like a group of hobgoblins with one dropping down to the knee with the bow. And that one bow guy wipes out the group. That's how it went. One bow guy. One bow guy takes it. The fighter. The wizard was the exception. He got taken out by the actual hobgoblins with the swords. There you go. Hope that gives you an answer there, Miles. I mean, I might think of a better one later, but you're asking me a few minutes after I just got up, so there. That one I can remember because I recently talked about it. So in life. Talked about it with somebody who actually played back in the Open RPG days. So it was like, wow, okay. Remember that death? Because I mean, I had a lot of guys. I remember you could open up rooms on this thing. It was like Merc, but it had like a dice roller, and it was like Merc Advanced because so many people played on Merc, and then the relay chat thing, and then when that became so popular to game on there and not do play by post, but like do direct. It became so popular that this thing called Open RPG became a thing because it was taking the idea of Merc, but actually giving you direct dice rollers instead of you needing to do all these weird things to dice roll. It was cool. It was cool. There was a map thing at the top. You could even do miniatures, but I mean, it was extremely slow. Like you could do miniatures. They had a map where you could, well, not miniatures, but you know what I mean? You could put like things that acted like miniatures. Milestone leveling. I mean, I've done both where you gradually go up in milestone. People have varied opinions on this. I've never had a big emotional attachment to the whole thing. I think both can be done to a certain point, but I think there's also like things where if you're going to do milestone leveling, it's almost like looking at the group leveling. And even then, I think it's like okay, well then so many things have to be achieved. I mean, look, to get experience points, you got to achieve so much. You get enough experience points to level up, right? Milestone, I sort of treat like the same way, but it's like, okay, I'm just not going to bother announcing to you all the different experience points you're going to get. Milestone just becomes a thing where it's like, level up. But to me, then you have to sort of look at it like a group thing. Or even worse, if you're going to do milestone, some people might be doing well and other people not. And then you're sort of going to punish the group by saying, like individuals in the group, by saying, look, you're not leveling up until they do. So then it becomes sort of like a group leveling up thing. And instead of giving out experience, like every time, you just finally tell people when they're leveling up. So it depends on how you view milestone. I mean, I don't know. It's depending on how you view it before you worry about even how it's applied. I'd rather get gradual if you're doing leveling up, or I'd rather get milestone. Well, milestone is still in a way collecting experience points. You're just not hearing about them, in a certain degree until you're told you're leveling up. So it's not like it's not happening in that way. Milestone is more like there's so many achievements you have to get before you get to it. But it's almost like just saying, DM, instead of giving me experience points every so often, I'm going to write down, just tell us when we go up. And that means you're leveling the party up usually at the same time instead of having individuals get ahead of others based on performance. And then you got to have a talk with players. Some players, they'll ask me like, well, what's the benefit to me as an individual leveling up the group? I'm like, well, milestone, the way I would treat it is not that you're, 1 second, background noise. Okay. Not that your performance isn't good, but your performance becomes something for the group. So if you perform really well, I would count it, but then, I mean, that means your group might get the milestone slightly early, right? Depends. Well, what is milestone though, when you think about it? It's just experience points given out and sort of like not given out, but you're sort of still getting the same thing. And it's just like maybe you're sort of saying a milestone is like instead of having individuals level up or get the experience points before others, you're leveling up people at the same time. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it, really. Depends on how you look at it. Like I knew a lot of DMs that would mix the two. Meaning if it got to the point where the performance as a group was good enough, they might suddenly milestone it, level you up at the same time, a certain degree. But then if that started changing based on your play, they would switch out from milestone and go back to experience gradual. So most of the time I seen milestone, it was mixed with D&D. It was sometimes they level you up at milestone. So, but if your performance was so separate, like this guy's performing so well, he's getting a level before the rest of you, right? Like, so now we're not going to milestone it the same way. Or a lot of DMs would just tell you it's not so much milestone they're doing to begin with. It's just that you might hear that you're leveling up when you level up instead of hearing about your experience points. So at the end of a session, that guy wouldn't give you XP. He would just mark it down for himself. Meaning you're not going to hear about XP until your guy levels up. Okay, it's like, hey, Tom, your guy leveled up. Oh, cool. And that'd be it. All that guy would hear. He would never hear how much XP do I get at the end of the session. So I never met a group that just did milestone or just, there was always a mix. Milestone is something that just sort of appears throughout, and it depends on players' performance. If you perform well as a group, you could hit where the guy is going to milestone you. Again, if you start playing too much individual stuff where it's worth separating the group, you wouldn't get milestone. But sometimes, even then, what do you call milestone? Milestone is just an announcement of leveling up instead of any announcement of XP coming to you. But you still have to have done something for it. So in a way, the way they describe milestone today is not even real. It's like milestone is still based on experience points to a degree. It's just you're not hearing about them until they say level up. So very nuanced. There you go. That's all that really milestone is from per D&D. And so that would vary. It would vary. It comes down to DM's choice, really. Just DM's choice. It's feel. Some guys would do it consistently, and that's when you would talk about milestone gaming, I guess. But even then, depending on how they felt, if they felt there was a worthwhile reason to level one guy more like faster than the other, they just would. Yeah. Like I knew one guy who would, you would say he's almost milestone because the fighters and most of the characters would level up at the same time outside of the thief, who would level up slightly faster. Like he'd be telling his thief, okay, you're going up a level. Oh, just me? Yeah. Because thieves have, they don't need as much to level up. And it's actually measured in the game. It's okay if your thief is slightly above you because in the areas where your character is necessary, you still are effective as the thief, in the areas where you're even at a lower level. So a lower level fighter is still more effective in combat than a thief is in combat. But the thief slightly gets, it does get the thing off. So it's more that he can more help, but you're still as a fighter, even at lower levels, more effective than he is. And it's a benefit to the group because now the thief is more effective in the areas where almost nobody is, which is avoiding traps, right? And a group is usually, a wise group is never going to complain about their thief leveling up faster because they understand how beneficial it is to the group, right? Like you're not really outperforming in combat, really, anyway, as a higher level thief. But where it measures out for people, for the group, is now that guy has an easier time picking the lock. Now that guy has an easier time finding and removing traps. So it's more effective for the group overall. There's just no reason. I would hear new guys go, man, why does he get to level up faster? It's not what you think. And they get a lower dice roll for hit points. And even if they got a few more hit points, again, if you look at it more like a group orientated game, and most experienced players would, you stop seeing it as a problem. It's not like that player's really getting fire hitty as a thief. So sometimes, even when you would think milestones going on, the thief would go up anyway. So milestone gaming in the real old school era was not like this, the way they talk about it now. Like it has no relation to reality. It was a varied thing. It was depending on how your DM felt during that run up to level 2. He might milestone you. He might then make you work for experience going forward. It depends on how close he felt you were. And if he felt like a level was earned by the end of a session by the group, you're all close enough, he's going to estimate that out in his head to say, you know what, you could be like 50 off. I'm not going to bother. I'm going to say you all hit level whatever, right? There you go. It was just more common sense back in the day when it came to DMing that way. And people just wouldn't get too mad about that small bit. Though you get your odd nerd out there, a very minority group, which online, that minority's voice gets louder. But again, I always tell people, when you hear people complaining out there, it's not the majority. So it's especially in this hobby. And you should never confuse the louder voices for usually representing what most people think. So when you hear people complaining about milestone, that's almost nobody complained about milestone back then. Nobody. The majority don't give a fuck. I mean, the vast majority. And people that don't care don't speak up. That's what you find out. This is why you got to be careful about who speaks up when you hear them. Some people might just tell you something more down the middle, like Black Rose. Black Rose is more in the majority, like, hey, I dislike milestone. But most people wouldn't even dislike milestone. Most people didn't care. Most people accepted that there was a bit of a nuance with milestone and that, and they would just let the DM choose. They would just leave it to the judgment of the DM. And DMs were never, I always milestone or I always do this. They feel it out. They felt like there was a point where you would all level up for their judgment call, they would do it. But to think that that guy's going to run milestone every time you're leveling up is to not understand old school D&D. Is to say that you were either stuck at home, you were isolated with a home group, or you took a pause from the hobby after being isolated and come back later. That happens to a lot of guys. But either way, you weren't there with the majority out in the crowd. Because if you were out gaming with a lot more people, what you would find out right away is the vast majority didn't give a fuck. Because they didn't look at it the way we do. They never see somebody just milestoning. They would always just see a guy every so often say, yeah, I'm going to level you up all at the same time. Because that's what milestone is. It's just you're describing a thing that DMs are doing, but if you think that's all they do, and then here's what happens, though. Here's what poisons the dialogue online. When you talk like people have done that, like either they milestone or they don't, some people start practicing this stuff as if we did do it in the old school era, which is really weird. Because then you meet a guy in 2009 who does milestone, you're like, oh, dude, you got caught up with the conversation, didn't you? That's just people talking. He's like, I do milestone like probably people like did back in the... No, you don't. Nobody just did one way. It was nuance. You just heard the conversation. You thought because of the way people talk about it that we do it this way, and here you are. Oh man, you should just be nuanced like every other DM. I don't know why you're doing this. This is stupid. So that's what happens when you listen to the minority, the people who barely understand the old school era, the people who barely have any experience in the real hobby overall. When you listen to these fools talk, because they're just coming up with ways to, they're just coming up with what they assume. That's the problem with isolated guys like the less than 10% that were at home with their friends back in the day, which is less than 10% at home playing with your friends all the time. They talk like they're the majority, less than 10% of the hobby. They're isolated. They know fucking nothing. Their entire basis for conversations about the hobby or the game is based on assumptions. And they make up less than 10% of the people that run the hobby. Think about that. Like how many guys say, hey, Philo, most of us just play with our friends for whatever amount of years. I'm like, no, less than 10% of you did. So that's not most people. That's not even close to half. But yeah, that's where they get the whole milestone gaming. DMs would be nuanced, and sometimes they would milestone you. But then again, if your performance is so separated by level 4, they might not do the milestone. Whatever, there's no topic. Miles was asking about milestoning, so I'm replying. So whatever you guys want to talk about there, Philo. Hence the off script. No, I just never brought a topic with me. It's a talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about there. That's where I'm at on this one. But milestoning is actually, now you guys know. And that's the way old school DM should still deal with it. Like if you feel like at level 3, I mean, if most of your guys are close enough and they've gone up, like you figure they hit level, you level, right? But if your thief has outperformed, which a lot of guys would, even with so-called milestoning, you'd still often hear the thief get a level before the rest of the group because they need less. And if, say, so by level 4, you think they're all going to level up at the same time, you can give it to them. You can milestone them. Level 5, you could be given the fighter the first level. Maybe he's just outperformed everybody in the group as a player with the character. Well, Philo, you talk. See, you're one of these people caught up with the milestoning as if it's a thing that people do. You're just caught up in the false conversation the minority talked about online. Real old school DMs never just did milestoning. Milestoning is just a description of something DMs would do every so often. So some DMs would do it more often than others, but it's just the idea is everyone's close enough in level. Just say you have most people close, but like there might be like a guy who could be like 100 off or 50 off over here, and you just level them up. And some milestoning is almost considered just the DMs, a lot of DMs wouldn't give out XP after their sessions. They just mark it down for themselves. How much XP I get? Don't worry about it. You'd hear statements like that from DMs. Don't worry about it. I'll track it. So you'll know, you'll be told when you get a level. Like if you don't got to do training, especially, or you'll be told when you have enough for a level if you're doing training. Like you have enough for a level now if you want to go get the training done when you can. That be it. That milestone is not something. It's not like a way of gaming in the way you think. It's more like in D&D. I mean, it's more like here's what DMs are doing, and later they describe it, but then later it's separated. It's like railroading. Railroading was never a pure way. There was always a slight bit of freedom. Always a slight bit of freedom outside of railroading. Railroading was mostly module play. Because you're going on an adventure being forced on. If you don't do modules, you're sandboxing. Sandbox is not really a railroad at all. But if you're railroading, is not like this separate play. There's usually always railroading and a bit of freedom mixed in. But if you got online, you were desperate to have a conversation, and you might have been isolated with your home group or your lack of experience in the hobby overall. You might talk about railroading like it's a separate thing because it's what game theory did. They talked about it like in a separate thing, but then I realized it poisons minds because then people talk about railroading, and then one guy will start just railroading purely in this game. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? He's like, I'm a railroading DM. I'm like, you listened to the online conversation, didn't you? He's like, yeah, well, people talked about it, but I do railroading. That's what you're doing. Is not how we did it. What do you mean? Somebody just separated something that was going on and they didn't give you the nuance. And now here you're someone, you're poisoned by the online dialogue, and you actually approach the game this way, which is what we did not do. So this is the poison of the online dialogue. It's like milestoning. Nobody ever did pure milestone. But if you've heard the online dialogue and then you start being a DM, you might start trying to do it at an extreme level, which nobody has ever done before. I thought the milestone was XP insta level after achievements such as killing a bad guy, finishing an important quest. Yeah, but what I'm talking about is milestoning permanently. So, which is something we didn't do. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Oh, some of them are bullshit, though. Some of them you just tell are lies. Though milestoning is more like, say you're close to either the level, or like you said, it could be from beating a big boss. Like there's so many experience points coming your way. I'm not going to give you enough for 2 levels, but I'll let everybody level up here. Like there's enough. So yeah, there could be a milestone. But sometimes it's still, even the big boss fight wouldn't get you a milestone. Like some DMs, if a player outperformed everybody so badly, like, well, you guys definitely got some experience points. You get a level. So no, we just didn't simply level people up just at a big boss. It wasn't that simple. It could happen, but Philo, there's so much nuance to leveling up the way old school DMs did it. But if you lack experience in the hobby, but you pretend to have it, and then you get online, you try to talk about things when you lack experience in the hobby and you lack understanding, and you're not part of the happy majority. You're part of a silent, or you're part of a very loud minority that talks all the time. I warn people, Philo, most people that are talking about issues are a minority, because the happiest people in the hobby, the people satisfied with where they're at, what they do, they don't talk often. They don't talk often. So I always tell people to be careful about the conversation you hear online. Like never just assume that conversation represents the majority's view. That is a minority. A minority is always the loudest in any hobby or anything speaking up. So these are the people that probably they have less experience than most people. They're a minority voice. They're not going to represent the majority view, right? But a guy who ran the longest record D&D game, and he had multiple parties, they formed kingdoms and stuff and had wars. How would someone try doing something similar? No, probably guys even probably beat his record. That's just probably recorded. Like you're saying, recorded. Yeah. So, oh no, I know the third part guys on Open RPG. They had a consistent nonstop game that if you went to their gaming, just nonstop gaming, multiple DMs, they did a shared world exactly like the Bro OSR does, but they actually had one that was actually going. It's not like the share. It's not like even the concept. They had one going where I tell you this: I went on Open RPG every day. They had an active game that was considered not to be paused, but like DMs would come in and take over. I think if you count it as active gaming nonstop with no breaks, 2.5 months, like every single day, dude, every single day. So it's a 2.5 month session with hundreds of players, probably about 20 or 30 DMs. And it was a shared world where they did the same thing, multiple kingdoms and everything, but they did it for 2.5 months nonstop. So you could actually say for 2.5 months there was a nonstop gaming session going on. It's real time, 1-to-1 time, and so the world's all advancing at the same time. So they had a session where it finally had to take a break, but they lasted for about 2.5 months. It was 2.5 months of nonstop play. That was over 10 weeks of nonstop, no breaks. DMs coming in to take over for other DMs before the game stops, right? Oh, 40 years. If that's what you're talking about. That's pause game. But long sessions, that's different. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that just keep playing the same game. It's called like it's not even a long campaign. It's almost unfair to talk like say that that guy's game is what you think it is. You're confused. It's more like just imagine a guy who always just plays in the same world. So would you call his a long campaign? I think the way he identified his game, and I just sort of know what you're talking about, is something a lot of guys did. So for like 20 or 30 years. But here's what he's doing. He's letting you start characters. And he has no set campaign, just a continuous world the story's gonna keep going forward. And you can build businesses in it, you could have castles, you can get up to your levels to do that. And you can retire characters. And right in the same campaign, you can retire characters, but he just keep playing. And other people can come in with new characters and they could join up with the older characters. And that's that's more casual than people think it is. It's not like not a lot of hard work to achieve that. It's just a continuous world. They're not really hard. And sometimes you get these stories where it's the player playing the very experienced character. He's out with two young people going to go into a dungeon, but he's way more powerful. He can take care of them. There's a lot of negatives to that gaming. Like there's a lot of taking challenge away. There's a lot of protecting people. There's a lot of negatives. I don't personally like it. Like I like the idea of having a sort of open campaign world where it's not directed and you give a players like a sandbox a lot of choice, but there is a lot of like downside to that continuous campaign over like a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. There's a lot of downside. It's really weak. It's actually not as impressive as people think it is, my opinion. A few promo videos about that campaign, his basement crazy, full of minis, terrains, looks like crazy warhead. Oh yeah, I'm not saying these guys aren't nerds and play to it and make some cool looking stuff, but yeah, some nerds make cool looking stuff. Sometimes their gaming is not exactly as what you think it is. Just how it is. I've seen some of the gaming. It's like, it's okay. He's doing a continuous campaign world. I mean, you could do that with to me, I don't really call it a full-time campaign. He just starts up that night. Guys who have characters level 20 they have their characters forever in the game. Some new players might join with their level 1s or 2 characters. Okay. They're going to have an easier time because the higher level characters will take care of them. Right. But it's less exciting in many ways. I've seen a lot of it boring. they more get into like you're Black Rose is saying here, like though the terrain and everything will look better than the actual gaming experience. It will look hot. They'll do a lot of work. They'll be nerds. They'll be that. You sit down to play a session, you're like, okay, all right. Well, that's disappointing. that was always my issue with saying, because I see a lot of that in life too, where guys did continuous. They had the terrains. They had this. You go sit down to playing a gaming session with them, and you're like, okay, here's the problem. We ran into the problem. It's the actual session. See, I don't give a shit about none of that. Like I do, but I don't. Like I say to people, all this means dick all if that is not great. Like I don't care about the journal you have about your gaming sessions. Like, oh, it sounds great. I go listen, or I go play in it. Oh man, this is fucking boring as fuck. Great journal, very boring actual gaming experience. Diabolical age, all that stuff is really cool, but that's some people in the wargaming thing crossing over to D&D. A lot of these guys will. And I'm not trying to down on what they do, but just here's I got to be real with you guys. I'm not trying to attack people, but most of the guys I would meet that would do that. My issue is always when you sit down in their gaming session, because that's where I don't. I'm really. I hear what you guys are saying, but I'm just not. I only become impressed with this other stuff if that's good. That if that's not good, the rest is a front. It's a meaningless front to me. Right? So this better be the fucking gem, baby. They're sitting down and playing the actual game better be the gem. Because if it's not, this is meaningless. Right? Like if it doesn't line up with this. If this sucks, that's a front. I don't care about the front. So I have a standard about that because to me, gaming was always the most important. Like what we do actually do once we're in the gaming session, how that is experienced, how good that is. So all this means nothing to me. I don't care if you do it for 40 years or you've done it for 3 days. So people that tell me I ran my game for 40 years, don't give a fuck. What's your gaming session like? Again, I don't care if you've been gaming. I know guys who ran for 3 months who ran sessions that would run circles around guys who had done a campaign that was going on for 20 years. I don't give a, and they'd have great trains, they'd have great this. You sit down their sessions, fuck, this is boring. Go play with the guy who has nothing. He has no back ray, has no train, no nothing. But if he sits down to run a session for you, you will fucking be in the magic zone. You'll play a fucking fantastic fucking top of the fucking line session. You'll have a great time. It'll be one of the most exciting experiences you have. No terrain, no nothing cool, no nothing good. Running for a few months, maybe a month. His sessions will fucking knock it out of the park. I'd rather play that guy's game all day. And I'll be more impressed with the guy who's been running for a month with great sessions than a guy with a 20-year campaign with great terrain pieces. Yeah, go play some wargaming, dude. This is either you get this right, and if you don't get this right, that's fucking dick all. That means absolutely nothing. That's a front. So you can take this, you can shove it all up your ass, your terrain, your fucking pieces, your board. If you don't get this right, all that means nothing. This only has value if you get this right. And if you don't get this right, take that, put it up your ass. I'm not impressed anymore. Right? So I don't care about guys dying of old age. Is it in boring sessions? Yeah, don't give a fuck. Need ideas, boring fucking sessions. Absolutely doesn't mean nothing to me. I rather guys been running for a fucking month with none of that, but he runs a fucking fabulous session. He's better than you if he's doing that. He has no terrain pieces. Nobody's played so long and their character's dying. He's been running for a month. That's it. He is better than you. His sessions fucking knock it out of the park. Overall, he has more value to the hobby than your 20-year campaign brings. So I hate crediting people on false evidence of offering something great to the hobby or being something impressive here. And I'm not saying every guy is like that, but there's been so many fucking fake, false people that they fail where it counts, and then they do all this other shit. And then you are supposed to treat them like serious game masters or DMs. Like, man, he's a serious DM. He's been let's try out a session. No, he fucking sucks. He's absolute trash. One of the worst DMs I've ever met in my fucking life. He has a 20-year campaign going on, but he's a shit DM. He's absolute fucking trash. And sorry, all the terrain pieces, his 20-year campaign, guys of dying old age. Yeah, well, in a shit game ran by a shit DM, that means nothing. And the worst thing is, I've seen people in the hobby credit guys with no talent at all with being super talented based on this stupid shit. See, personally, I've just encountered it so many times where I'm like, I hear how impressive a guy is in life. Man, he's been running this for like 13 years. Everybody would be impressed with him. I sit down to play a session. This guy fucking sucks. This guy's absolute fucking trash as a DM. And I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm just going, I wouldn't even say anything out loud, but I'm just like realizing right away. He gets credit as being a great DM for things that tell you nothing about his DMing. 13 years. Great miniature pieces. Great board. People die of old age. Sit down. Guy has absolutely no talent for running the game at all. I'm like, we're calling, I'm not saying anything, but I'm like, I'm hearing this. I had to hear this more than once. He's a great DM. No, he's not. He's absolute trash. So why are we crediting him as, it's because of it is because of the 13 thing, isn't it? 13 years, the old age, the miniature, the board and the miniature pieces. Holy fuck. This guy who sucks at his job as a DM, we're going to falsely credit him as being good. That we're going to say this has meaning to the hobby. This brings value to who? To who? I would never want another player learning to DM from that guy. Like, please stay the fuck away from his game. Go to the guy who's been running for a month, but is fucking awesome at what he does as a dungeon master. See, performance is where it matters. DMing is a performance. It's a skill. This is all false. This is all fucking the front. I don't give a fuck about that. Here's me. You could put me out in a fucking iceberg. I could be sitting there with a fucking group of fucking penguins. Give me a pencil, maybe a piece of paper, maybe, or at least some dice at the very least. I can run a fucking great game. I don't need your fucking board, your fucking terrain pieces. I don't need none of that shit. Put me in a fucking closet with people, and I'll run a great session with almost nothing. So, I mean, I'm just DMing is a performance thing, and either you're good at it or you're not, right? So, I don't care about all this fake shit. Well, he was people retire. Yeah, it's only a good thing if the guy is good at DMing. If the guy's not good, all this means nothing. Oh, I'm not attacking him, Miles. So I don't know why you even need to put up a defense for him. I'm just saying that would be the only part that counts for me. So when people are starting to tell me this guy ran for 20 years, I'd be like, all right, okay. This guy has great terrain pieces. Okay. The only part I want to hear is that he's good at running the game. And even then it can get flaky. Just even if you're good at it, sometimes it's flaky where it depends on how you're trying to experience the game. I'd say guys that were decent at it play for a long time can be like, man, your older players are making it too safe for the new players. And you can see the newer players they play and they become more flaky. And what would be worse is picking up players from a condition like that where they come over to a normal game. It's not that the DM is bad, like you say there, Miles, but they play in these safe games where they're playing with older characters that are making sure they're safe. I'm like, okay, you guys have played in other games? No, just play with my family. Okay. And then they make careless mistakes because They've been protected by, like you say, the better characters. They play in, and these usually when you play in these games, a lot of them end up being very safe. You can learn what not to do. You can learn what not to do. Look, I see him fucking up. I'll make sure I don't do that in the future. So it's good. I mean, it can save you from needing to fuck up and learn. That I'll give it to you if you love. That's what you mean. But just come on, guys. I mean, it's just a comment. I don't know how you guys experience the hobby, but I've been in the hobby since 1987 in total. 1991 started DMing. I'm just seeing it's the hobby has this habit over the years, even online, same thing. A lot of false reasons people are giving credit as being something more than what they are. It's so constant. It's not like a jealous thing. I just think it actually hurts the hobby. It just hurts the dialogue, and crediting people with certain things has led to people talking about things that it could take you years to have to push back on that and go, that's just not good for the conversation. That's just not true. But yet some falsehoods get so established from this stuff that it becomes bad advice for people too. And then you start seeing people run games in mediocre ways that you didn't in the past, so gaming gets worse. You go from it's good to now people are commonly practicing bad things. Right. Like the milestone thing or the railroad stuff. To separate it from a bigger package and not see that there was nuance around it, like nuanced stuff going on around these things. We had many guys after the year 2000, young guys, especially like online or even some in person, that would hear about these talks. And suddenly, if they ran railroad, there's no freedom at all in their game. Like that's not exactly railroad, dude. Or that milestone. Guys would only do milestone. Just do milestone. Now, to older school guys, they wouldn't keep up with this. But this, again, I hate hearing the minority have conversations, have a bad effect on the hobby, and then they continue to stay isolated. So I'm out there seeing the wider group get affected by their bad talk. They still have no idea that their bad talk has been poisoning people. I'm like, well, there's guys out there trying to do this. No, there's not. They'd say things like that, but their argument back was, I was like, well, I seen it. What about you? Basically, they would just assume their talk. It's all based on assumption. Their entire way of speaking is assumptions, zero evidence. Assumption, 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 assumption. But dude, I'm out there seeing it. You're here assuming otherwise. And why not? Why would you ever want to assume something that goes against you or makes you look bad? You guys have been talking about this. You've heard people what they're doing. I tell you, of course, you don't want to believe the thing that makes you look terrible. Of course. It's so instinctive to not want to look like you're a jackass, right? I like some of what Matt says, like in the nuance aspect. I can listen to him without being bothered, because I think Matt is real when he talks, no matter how he pushes stuff. I still think there's a passion there. Of course, he's trying to make some money. I don't hold it against everybody's on here trying to get something. So you can't sit there and just go, that's a reason for fucking judging people or being against everyone. I think he's been a pretty fair guy. Do I agree with him on certain things like politics? Of course not. But I like Matt because he's entertaining, interesting, and a pure entertainer. You don't need to do background stuff with him. He can just get on camera and talk to you, which is like what I'm doing here. To be honest, Miles, because I watch almost nobody. No. Even the few guys that I didn't mind the old school that I watch off and on, one of them decided recently to out of nowhere because he was having a bit of a tip down. And I wouldn't say he's my favorite, just I watch so few people that I'd at least every so often, if I had free time, I'd watch some of his streams. And out of nowhere, for no reason, he's one of the major guys that pushed an image You guys, I've talked about it recently in the video. An image of a receipt. He's actually surprisingly, he's one of the only guys we had no qualms. He had never done anything before this. He never got in on the fucking crowd of people that would always attack me. He stayed out of all that. He was a neutral figure. And then he decides to take an image and falsely act. He does when he first complains about it on another screen, not even on his own, because when he first brought me up, when he finally directly says something about me, it's on somebody else's stream where he's on there. And he doesn't even point out that it's an image of a receipt. It's an event that he was running. And he doesn't even tell people it's an image. He just tells people, it basically reacts to it like it's a real receipt. It's not. I never did anything wrong. But the guy was convinced, but I'm not even sure if he was convinced or not. I know he was a little mad at me because he misunderstood. Here's what happened. I joined one of his gaming group things, and without explaining, I just said, if I can't get time in it, I'll back out. So I told him this from the get-go. I asked where I was doing stuff, where I was busy. The people had the bosses over my time. I said, could I have time to take part in this event? And they said, no. So I'd already told them, but I just didn't maybe explain in detail. I just said, look, I'll join the group, but if I can't play, I'll back out. So I leave the Discord group because I can't run anything. And I think what I thought was, and I now know for sure I wasn't completely wrong about this. The Discord group was made up for an event. So I'd already said, if I can't, I'll back out. So I leave the Discord group thing. He misunderstands me leaving the Discord thing as some hateful move. Now, understand, I don't know this. I'm so busy in life, I don't even hear about this. And then one of my haters, with one of their many 5 or 10 accounts on Discord, joins in his group, I guess, and gives him an image of a receipt that's not real. Okay. All right. I would hope a guy like that who I have no qualms with would come to me and ask me, hey, is this you? But I don't know. He's already mad at me and misunderstanding why I left the group. But I told him, if I can't participate, I'll back out, which was, I just never had I left the group, but never had a chance to talk with him on the next stream. So what I don't know is he's already flipped out. And he's totally misunderstood the action. Completely lost his mind on this. Didn't know. I'm too busy to know. I'm too busy with life. Getting back and doing my life. I just had no idea this was even bothering him. So this guy joins one of my haters, gives him a false image. And the guy instead of just coming to me and saying, hey, is this you? No, of course not. It's not me, dude. And I would have proved it to him privately and we would have been cool. Right? Nope. Goes on to somebody else's stream and announces that there is a receipt and that I'm charging. Doesn't say it's an image. So falsely communicates the receipt as being real. Right? Doesn't talk to me in private. The guy is now over 10,000 subs, right? Accuses me of claiming to be part of an event or something and charging someone. It's just a hater causing trouble. So he just got caught up. He's already mad about me leaving the group. Now he's caught up by a hater. Very desperate move by the hater, right? But they have been doing images out for a 2-week period. They were putting out an image of me attacking somebody. It's just a few haters that don't like me. So they've done this stuff over 7 years. So I've had these images and attacks, pretty common stuff for 7 years. The poor guy got caught up in something where he thought it was real. So now note, the guy holding the event, he's also having an issue. He's complaining about YouTube before the event because his regular viewership has been cut down. Got to some nights there where he had 13 people watching. It's a guy with a major size channel, so it's not like my channel. He's many more people. And he's not having many viewers. He's not getting many likes compared to previous content. He really down in the fucking gutter. And he decides to do this on me. And this little attack on me gets him heat. Since a lot of people don't like me that are around his circle, for a period of time, he goes up from the 13 to getting 40 and 50 people watching him. Now he's gone from 20 some likes for a little bit before the event to 30 to 40 or so likes. But that's all from attacking me. It's not from his own work because he's all before attacking me. He's complaining to YouTube and only getting 13 viewers and like 20 some likes for a guy with almost 10K at the time subs. So he does this heat. Then, because of the event, he gets a lot more people subbing to him that are taking part in the event. The event goes by really well. A lot of fun gaming. They do a lot of great stuff. The guys are liking the activities. His content doesn't really change, and he actually does almost no content over the time of the event. He comes back. He's getting 30 some people to 40, not exactly the 40 to 50 to 60 at this point, and now he's back down to 20 some. So obviously, and he's back to complaining about YouTube holding him down again. He went from when he got hot for a second, he stopped complaining about YouTube. The second he goes back down, complaining about YouTube. It's not YouTube though. YouTube has told him because he's asked a few times on X, YouTube, why are you doing this? And YouTube's like, we're not. It's like, well, why would YouTube hold down tabletop role-playing game content? They wouldn't. So the issue is really with him. And there. That's why. So the one guy I did like and watched a few of his streams, which is ironic because I actually liked, and I actually told the guy, I actually said it publicly a few times, I like this one guy, which I usually don't say in public that I like somebody. So I actually said I like this guy. It was sad to me that after years of him not playing with the other shit, the second he gets desperate and has a dip, he takes advantage of taking a shot at me, very false one, and gets a small hike up, but now it's dipped right back down. So he got over 10K though finally, which is I guess was his big goal. But now he's back to complaining. I guess 10K is not enough because he's back to complaining about YouTube. But whoever, probably going to say Dave's like I'm not going to put you to a YouTube channel, but that's about it. Besides that, I liked Matt Colville because Matt Colville was a raw guy. Get on, and even if you disagree with him on a lot of points, he still said a lot of interesting stuff, and he was entertaining. Most of the guys are boring. Especially most of the old school guys are just boring. Like I could at least go to watch Matt Colville stream and be like, okay, that guy can talk. He has charisma. Like this is interesting. Like you could interact with him and he would talk to you even without giving him a super chat. Like very classy guy all around. People didn't like him because, well, in all honesty, I think he'd run circles around all the guys that didn't like him in the old school. So old school guys be like, we hate Matt Colville. I'm like, yeah, because he's more talented than you. And it seems like that's a common problem with a lot of the old school content creators. Every time they encounter someone with more charisma, more talent than they have, instead of bringing that person in to help build up their own audience, they'll fucking throw that guy into the bus because they're jealous. Matt Colville, other people, which is no good because I've talked about YouTube on here a few times where it's like I point to people. I'm not trying to attack people, but there's flatliners and there's people that build up your audience. Like if a new talented guy came in next week who has extreme talent, you can't be playing guessing games. You got to be able to see it, not just want it to be a thing. A lot of these guys want guys to be good at this, and they're not going to be good at it, right? You just got to see talent for what it is. If a new guy came in next week, I would tell all the old school guys, get rid of your jealousy. Like, don't start bad blood with this guy right away. Don't turn him off. Don't make him want to walk away from you because people with talent will not put up with your shit. You can play that with your flatliners. You can play that where you have control. But if you meet a talented person, they'll know they have talent. They will not put up with this. And they will treat it like it's the real world. Don't think you can just play these insane games with everyone. Most people, even people online, will not put up with the shit. So don't do that to them. I would say if a talented guy came around the old school next week, willing to make content, and he had more talent than most of the guys around, I'd say, all right, you have two choices. You can either do to him what you've done to me and other people, right, and run him off, or you can let him build up maybe even slightly better than you, be known to be better than you at YouTube. You can do that. The benefit is to you is the better he is, the more people he brings over, like new audience, right? And that new audience, the benefit is now there's new people to watch YouTube. And if you can get that more talented guy in your stream because you have good relationship with them, people become more open-minded to you that are coming in that new crowd and they join you. And so you start building up your audience with that new guy. That's how the all boat rise thing, right? But if you take the most, if you take the most talented people and go, you have to get on your hands and knees, and you have to bow to us before you can come on the street, you'll find out right away. Talented guys will not fucking do that. So there goes any chance of that. You won't be able to do that with them. You'll lose them. Uh, but if you can let them shine, they can bring in new audience members. And to get them to bow on their knees is only to humiliate them. And if you humiliate them, then they have a harder time drawing in new people. So even if they somehow agree to get on their knees for you to make sure your ego isn't harmed, you're going to harm them in a way that doesn't bring in new audience members. So, but what do? Because they have such big egos in the old school? They'll throw guys that have talent under the bus to make sure they're not outshined, the guys that are already established. And then they'll sit there and bring in flatliners, meaning they'll grow guys who could, like, just say you see a guy with 3,000 on there, but he's not growing at all. Like in the old school, what has happened most likely is it's a flatliner content creator, meaning on his own with no pushback, he can maybe get 1,000, right? With no lies told about him, without being held down, right? Maybe more likely, more like 5 to 1,000, maybe, right? On his own. And he's not going to do much. He's not going to bring in too many new people for the hobby, for the audience, for nothing. But if you spike him up on your shows, on your streams, and all this, you keep shining him up, what happens is you'll get him to about 3,000. He's tricky too, because for a while people start showing up to a ship, but he's not entertaining. He's not entertaining enough to have a bigger audience. So people leave. And actually, you lose more potential new people with guys like that than you win. Because they stop by for a minute, they're gone. And if they think that's most of what they're going to get there, they'll leave. So you got to watch out for flatliners. I call them leeches. We're just being real with you guys. I've said this already before. Leeches are guys that are not going to grow the audience. They're not going to be able to shine with the bigger audience that you give them. And then you'll notice it, because if they start doing videos after a while, if they have a certain size audience, their videos should be getting more views, their streams should be getting more views. Then you get guys like me who, some guys can only keep up with me and get better numbers because a certain crowd of people keep lying about me so much. Like it's an attempt to hold me down constantly for 7 years. Lies, attacks, everything else. And then they'll say I have issues, but you got to hear them go on their streams and they'll openly talk about me. I swear to fuck, they'll attack me all the time, even with my name out there. I say something even slightly back to them and they play victim. Whatever. This is how desperate they are for attention. But they're people that they're yes men. They're cheap content, and then they lie about me. It's like, okay, yeah. If you didn't lie about me, if you didn't paint this false picture successfully with a certain group of people, none of you could keep up with me. At least not certain people. Not say like guys with 8,000. I'm not talking about them, but there's some guys that are close to 1,000 now that, yeah, they wouldn't be able to keep up with me. They wouldn't even be able to pretend to be on that level with me if I wasn't lied about so much. Now, I've had YouTube channels with over like 3,000 people before they got strikes. Old school tabletop role-playing game YouTubers way in the past giving me strikes. Reporting me, I get the strike, and then I can't communicate with YouTube because there's no communication option that seems to be open. I couldn't get it through feedback. I couldn't get a response at all. They would give me the thing. They do their auto reviews. Here, please check this out. I don't deserve the strike. I get the strike anyway. Now you could still do the auto reviews, and most of the time they would still give you the strike. But you can go to Team YouTube and other people on like X, and they'll actually manually look at your stuff, or the AI might look at your stuff at first, I guess. But if the AI deems that you have a case, they'll pass it off to people. So that just means there's less workload on people, but people eventually can look at your stuff, right? Not just AI. And if you get lucky enough to have certain contacts, which I keep, getting 2 of the strikes I cleaned up recently off, I keep those contacts open. So there you go. I like I didn't even know Matt Colville does anything anymore. I haven't checked if he's done live, and I don't watch any content from tabletop role playing game people. Really, I checked out recently was a panel, and I skimmed through it for about 20 minutes. They were talking about IPs, IPs like Star Wars, Star Trek, and stuff like that for a minute. And it's not that I'm a big fan of the show. I don't mind the host. Again, I don't want to give names though, because everyone takes things the wrong way. So, but I don't mind the host. I get along with the host. So I watched a certain panel, and they were talking about IPs. That's the most, and I skimmed through it for like 20 minutes. That's it. Did I enjoy it? Am I entertained by it? Not really. I mean, I'm not attacking the guy who hosts it. He does a fine job, but I'm only skimming it because of the topic, not like I'm skimming it like I'm wanting to watch a TV show or a movie. So that's why I've been getting back into movies and stuff like that, because I want to actually be entertained. I don't find most of the tabletop role playing stuff entertaining at all. I find it boring. And of course, like I'm not somebody who I don't get the big ego. I don't need to hear about me all the time. So if you do streams about me, I especially don't watch them. I don't need to hear about myself. Even your hate is hate where I know it's a mix of jealousy and other things like that. It's just like I don't need the ego boost. I just don't need to hear about myself. Like, geez, I don't got that kind of ego to begin with, so I don't give a fuck. Do I talk about some things about YouTube? I find it interesting. I find the YouTube game interesting. So noticing the flatliners, noticing the lack of growth, it's just something I've learned over the years because I've had to personally deal with it. I'm a YouTuber. I've been doing this for over 10 years. So I now have altogether five channels. If you count my entertainment channel, it's my fifth one. And so I find the YouTube game interesting. I find that interesting and understand the algorithm recently. That's made the whole thing more interesting for me because I finally learned a lot about the algorithm. I could probably tell the guy who's having a not so great viewership on his streams probably what his issues are to a degree. But it's how do you grow? You'd be like, well, Steven, why aren't you doing better? Oh, I'm just not doing the cheap content stuff. So that's if I don't do the cheap stuff, it's a very slow growth. The cheap stuff works, but you got to kiss people's asses in a certain way, stick to a certain type of content. It's like I'll do my old school D&D stuff. I guarantee the nights I do old school D&D stuff, there's a lot of guys that suddenly get impressed by my content. Like, oh, this seems great, man. I'd love to. And then suddenly I'm doing other things or I'm talking about other issues, right? And then they're not impressed. But that's how easy it is to get start playing the Yes Man. So Yes Man is so constant, but it's such a limiting thing. Like even the Mysteria guy I talked about recently as a YouTube channel, that child died. It not died, but I mean, it slowed down. It hit a ceiling. That's it. And I just don't want to hit the ceilings. Like I know they're there. Like it feels good, stimulating wise. It feels good. I get it. Like you do rage bait content, you grow pretty fast, but then you hit a ceiling. If you do focus on AD&D 1E, and then you got to turn to BECME, and you're only doing that topic only, really, for your main videos. You can get 15,000 to 20,000. If you play too much on the politics side, though, or if you mention too many controversial things, you won't get to your 40 or 50,000, and that's a ceiling. That's still a ceiling. You're going to hit a ceiling. There's an AD&D 1E guy out there with 40,000. He's a bigger ceiling, but that's because he just stays away from all controversy. That's still a ceiling. And so it's a ceiling. I just don't want to touch ceilings. I don't want to hit these low ceilings where it's just like, that's it, man. Like Yes Man content only gets you to here. Right? Rage bait content only gets you to here. And that's it. Like, that's it. Like there is no more. Like there's not, the majority of people do not want it. Majority is like, you got to remember active online. If you look at purchasing power, old school people that active online that will watch content, and it's millions that are from the old school era that are active online through purchasing power, and more of the old school guys who watch Matt Colville than they will actually watch old school YouTubers. I got to tell you something. Matt Colville has more old school guys watching him in totality than all old school tabletop role playing game YouTubers audience combined together. So if you took every member of the audience from the old school as we know it, because they only serve a minority of them, Matt Colville's old school members dwarf them. Like and that's just his old school people, not even his new school people. Just take his old school people, cut his audience down to that 30 or 40%. They will outnumber the totality of the old school audience that watches guys that are focused on old school tabletop role playing game content. Well, Philo, that's what a lot of old school guys still do. I still make a lot of my own stuff, right? Like I'm making my own. I finally got like gaming rules complete. Doing editing now on magic items, and then the setting of the monsters for Skullhorn. Very happy about where I'm at on that. But outside of that, I run my games. I sandbox, so I don't run modules. So I just don't feel the need to buy new products. Even the 5e stuff was gotten for me by other people that wanted me to run it. Not that I asked anybody to buy anything for me. It's just that it's like, hey, the only thing I personally bought to try, I paid for it myself and brought it into the picture was the new Player's Handbook. The other guys got me the 5e material that I've used beyond that, right? I'm just like, okay. I told my, because they got me the 5e material already, like to use, and I kept trying to give back to them pretty much in a way I have. Finally gave it back to a guy who just said, I still count it as yours, dude. You can come use it whenever you want because we want you to run it for us. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, look, I said, if you guys really want me to try it, maybe I'll get one of these new books. And I did. I finally ordered the 2024 one. Still, it's the newest thing I've ever done. And it's the only new product I've bought in forever. I don't buy OSR clones. I don't need another Dungeon Master setting. I don't need another Dungeon Master's adventures. Right? I can make my own. I don't need, like, to me, a module was always another guy's game. Like, I don't need to run that other guy's game. I got my own. That's always, and I just, because maybe I just never ran modules, I always looked at it like, it's just another DM's game. I just don't want to run another DM's game. That's why I just stay away from modules. I just run my own. I've heard there's like pre-made adventures for World of Darkness. I just totally ignore them. I sandbox everything. Because the sandbox works for everything. And it works for every game. Really. Right? Sandbox works. That's why sandbox just saves you shitloads of money, right? And that's why I wanted to make that video recently about like and the only reason I talked about this stuff recently about the stuff with the drama is because it was somebody became a member. Black Rose knows about this. Made somebody a member, maybe talk about a bit about this stuff. And I was like, ah. And then there are some guys that will hate watch that are probably hoping I react to something they do. Like Black Rose told me about something this morning. Dude, I say something, the guy talks shit about me all the time. I say the most minor thing and he turns it into fucking content. I'm like, you're desperate. It's just desperate for attention. I got no time for it. I did buy some modules when I was younger, mostly for maps and some ideas I could work on. And like, you could use, I get the maps and all that cool stuff. But to be honest, I even get used to that's one area I actually like doing was making my own maps, making my own stuff for my own games. I like doing it all the time. So I like making maps. I actually prefer that. That's it. I'm no super artist in that way, but I like making maps. I didn't mind the amateur appearance to things. I'm old school, so most everything looked amateur anyway, even the stuff that was coming out in the books, right? Yes, I'm like you. I just never really had the time for most of it, so I would just ignore it. Once you know sandboxing, you just know how easy it is. Like you take a few notes to start up, but it doesn't take much to think out an idea of a starting point the town and some ideas. And once you write that all out, that's actually fun. That's your own creativity. It's people forget just to enjoy that part. I enjoy the setup to the campaign. Then you write out your pitch, right? And you can't plan too much further. You sort of get a structure, a pitch of why the characters are starting somewhere, some type of structure maybe. Beyond that, they're starting in a place, and there are several things they could do. And then you're going to start the game at one point. They're going to do it. They're going to do. You want to put some pressure on them and then hope. Oh yeah. Well, but I had no problem with you like using maps too. Like I didn't mind like when I took over Forgotten Realms, when I tried that finally, one of the rare marketed settings I tried outside of Mysteria. Mysteria is one of the only ones where I use a lot of the ideas for real. I talk about Mysteria because it ended up being something that inspired my own setting for Skullhorn. But I like Mysteria because of the way it came together. It just made sense to me. It was I felt like I related with it because it was like a gamer's setting. Forgotten Realms just seemed like something written out and planned too much. So I just said, okay, I heard purist try to hold people down. Well, no, you're going to do this in Forgotten Realms. So I just said, looked at people and said, okay, this is 500 years past all that stuff. They went, oh. I'm like, yeah, everything's changed. I'm just going to do what I want. I had tons of modules, read a few, never used them, except for one of the non-D&D games, gaming convention. I hear the gaming convention things. All maps I make are hand-drawn. I often make several versions for players. Hand-drawn are awesome. Like, that's my bread and butter, baby. Though when you're doing stuff online, you got to use that paint stuff. I had to use a lot of the paint stuff. It can take a little longer, but it still works just as good, right? Like to a point, as long as you don't mind the amateur look. I don't mind amateur looks. I don't do scriggly lines, so I was never like some super artist, but I always said at least try to make them look prettier than scriggly lines. Like I hate maps that look like they're just garbage. The things over here, all right, dude, all right. There's a. I'm no professional artist too, but there is an appearance that can make it slightly cool. And it's not like your players are looking for something beyond amateur. So it's like at least make the forest look like a fucking forest a bit and make at least a slight effort to make it at least slightly pretty and ideas. And so I've always done that. That's always been a thing for me. Never made copies like that Black Rose, like say by hand, but I'd make the maps that I want people to see that they could see, and then that's it. I'd sometimes make just the way I would do my maps was to do information on them. So, but like I might have like a building up here which was H1, and then over here would be H2 and H3 and H4. And I've always done that so I can take a piece of paper and go, what's H1? H1 is this. And I could write out what H1 means to me. Blah, blah, blah. And that information would be something I would not share with the players. Right? They'd ask my maps, like, well, why do you have one up here and then two over here and then three over here? It's just these are different areas. And so it would like say I might have like 3, 4. So it might be like 1, 2, and 3. Or F1, F2, F3. Right? And that was quite easy to do even on that's always done that with the maps where I just put these numbers down. And I don't need so many different maps, right? Like for things. Even my dungeons, I did the same things like for rooms, and I'd be like, this is room 1, room 2, room 3. Put the little markers on them just so I don't have to do the fog thing. Right? Description took care of a lot of the describing, so I could hide stuff, just blank area, and there might be a 1. Players would ask what that means. Who knows? That could be the area, that could be a room, who knows? I don't want the mystery. You go ahead and play a guessing game all you want, but you can, I guess, metagame off it, but in my game, you better be careful when you metagame. Biggest hand drawn map covers the entire island, is made on specials tarot exhibits. That's what a lot of people did, was islands. Just islands and continents, and that's pretty much how I created Skullhorn. Skullhorn was starts off where it's I described it as a giant, enormous world, and then I said, okay, you're at this part, you're on this island. That was my first ever campaign using Skullhorn, and it was on an island. And then I just make a new island for the next one. And sometimes then I run so many campaigns where now I like 10 campaigns in, I have 10 islands, but maybe they'll go back to island 1. So that now I could reuse the other islands too if I want to, and some campaigns might go back to them. And by a certain point, I have like 500 fucking islands, right? Of these continents, islands, lands, pieces. And it wasn't just like islands, it'd be like land, like just maps where it'd be like one piece of like an island, there's a smaller piece down here, but like I'd have like 500 of these things. And for each one, it's like the sandbox thing. I'm growing the setting. I'm adding details, adding details, adding details, adding details. And the Skullhorn that you see now is just decades of slow development. And then I purposely even developed it even more purposely when I started making the game for the 15-year run for game testing. So when I started making the Neo TTRPG system, I purposely separated. So it's almost like the alternate world thing, right? Like I kept using Skullhorn for my live gaming outside of the Neo TTRPG system, but that Skullhorn stayed on the path it was when I started the Neo TTRPG system. The gaming and testing I did with that Skullhorn I changed it on purpose. Because I want the new Skullhorn for the Neo TTRPG system to be something alternative compared to the other one. So they're considered both different. So if I use the Skullhorn for live gaming and the live gaming area, you wouldn't exactly be getting the Skullhorn that comes with the Neo TTRPG system. Because you might say, I already have access to that. No, you don't. No, you don't. 2 different Skullhorns. Right, 2 different Skullhorns. And Skullhorn has a weird history. Both are similar in this way. Like, I developed a history where the planet was even bigger at one point. And it was another planet that got blown up, has a whole history of its own. And the piece that remained was Skullhorn that floated off in space. And at one point, this leftover piece of this old planet is what becomes Skullhorn from the original. And there's an old original god, right? And the people from this old place survived. So over a long period of time, finally, somehow, not just somehow, there's backstory to it. These people arrive in Skullhorn. And Skullhorn calls them the new humans. And they're humans, but they're not humans born of Skullhorn. They're humans born of what Skullhorn used to be a part of. And they have survived. And with them, they bring their religion. They still believe in the god of that world, not the new gods that took over Skullhorn. So there's the 2 main gods for Skullhorn, right? And then there's this other old god that used to be the god of the world before it got broken up. And so, to me, it's an interesting backstory to the whole thing, right? But it's not like there's multiple gods like many other worlds. It's not like there's an elven god, a dwarven god. There is just the few gods. What really makes the religious aspect of the world work is instead of it being a multitude of different gods, each god has multiple versions of its religion. So if you believe in Keist, you might be the war priest of Keist, right? But there's other people that believe in Keist that do not agree with them. So some Keist believers, you might even identify as something close to evil. Why some Keist believers, you would identify them as very good people. So there's varied views on the gods, right? John, you said we're alternative. I hear you, but that just took a long time of development. I had a lot of fun years developing. I did more with Skullhorn and my own personal setting, but I started off as a sandbox. Like when I tell you a sandbox is better than anything you buy in the store, it's like I did a little bit of the Forgotten Realms stuff and I got bored of it. I just didn't like it. I went right back to my Skullhorn because Skullhorn was mine. I created it. I can develop it from scratch. I only need to make what I need for my adventures and my campaigns going forward. And each new adventure, new campaign is a new reason for me to advance whatever the world is. And then just over a long period of time, I keep gaming at the same place, keep making what I need for the next thing, and there's no limits. I can develop it in whatever direction I want. Right. So that was the religions for that world. And then there was like the groups I developed, like, and they didn't even exist right away. But later on, the Black Crow Mercenary Guild, the Red Falcon competitors, the Shadow Thieves, the Grey Masons, which are sort of inspired by, of course, Freemasons, a very secretive group. And just, yeah, there was a lot of secretive groups that started competing, even like sort of a monstrous group that came in at one point that started competing, like led by mostly orcs, right? But they had like in their ranks be like hobgoblins and goblins, but they were actually like sort of like a competing, more savage competition, but they were competing power. And so there was a competition for taking over the world, like, and even the guys that are good guys, like Black Crow Mercenary Guild, they want to take over the world, but they start thinking of they start almost pushing like as this idea of a single world government, but these are the good guys. But what does that mean? Are they the good guys? What kind of control do they have? And the more you look into it, the more you might get suspicious of them, even though they're the good guys in a lot of ways, right? So it got developed into something very deep over time. I love it to this day, and I can't see me wanting to like outside when it comes to D&D. I can't see me wanting to run anything outside of Mysteria. Like outside of Skullhorn is Mysteria. Mysteria, I still will run, but a lot of the ideas for Skullhorn come from Mysteria. I developed it like Mysteria get developed. Mysteria is a setting that got developed through gaming, piece by piece, advancing it. That's where you get all these cool ideas. Forgotten Realms was just here. It is not too much development beyond where it was. Greyhawk, same thing. It gets established mainly through the dungeon. The dungeon itself is well established. World more like put together, minor changes. Ravenloft, the same thing. Dragonlance, the same thing. Mysteria is built through sandboxing. That's why Mysteria is fucking deep and huge. And the reason it's huge is because you want to do all kinds of things with it, right? That's what happened with my own Skullhorn game. Is you sandbox, you want a world that you can do a ton of things with. You don't want a world that is going to pigeonhole you because you don't want to have to make 20 settings. Why do you think a sandbox setting becomes so huge? Because you start wanting to do other campaigns with other ideas. So if you don't want to keep doing new settings to do a new campaign, you got to start looking at your setting as, okay, I have to establish this as a huge place so I can justify having another part of the world where it's completely different. Right? So the world has to grow in size. And Mysteria, that's what happens in Mysteria. The reason it becomes so huge in size compared to any other D&D setting is because it's sandboxed. But that means it's also made for gaming too. There's been a lot of gaming done with Mysteria, more gaming than was done with Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, outside of Dungeon Play. But even then, still, yeah, outside of Dungeon Play, still more gaming with Mysteria. More gaming than Dragonlance, more gaming than Ravenloft. Mysteria is a gamer's setting. Like that thing was gamed out. So when you're going to play it, you can feel it. It's made for you to game with. And if you're a sandbox game with your adventures and you don't like modules, Mysteria is especially made for you. Because I mean, there's just so many things to use. Like they had their champions. I have these things called King Crows. So the Black Crow Guild at one point, they start having these people that establish a connection with higher powers, and they get so powerful in the group, and they're part of taking over the world that the group can't control them. But for them to still identify with the group, they start calling them King Crows, and they give these guys major authority in their group. They let them take it over to a degree. But the King Crows are so powerful that it's really hard to hold them down. They're like champions. They're sort of like the immortals from Mysteria. Now, did I purposely copy the immortals with these guys? Nope. I really didn't. But it's just a realization that when I developed the world so deeply, that when I see that I did this and I look back at the Immortals Champions, I can see where I got myself into a same zone through gaming. The Skullhorn is a very gamed world, like Mysteria. It's made for the sandbox. Forgotten Realms was something you could tell a story with. Mysteria is something you can game with. Mysteria, you could tell, it's not made for a novel. It's made for people that are going to play a game. Like Greyhawk, a little bit, but still you could tell a story with Greyhawk. You could tell a story with Dragonlance. You could tell a story with Forgotten Realms. You could tell a story with Ravenloft. When you get to Mysteria, the inspiration for bothering to make a movie or a novel starts probably going at the door. You will look at that and go, I can run a campaign with this. That will be your first thought. You won't be like, oh, I can tell a story with Forgotten Realms. You can look at it and go, I can tell a story. With Mysteria, you look at it and go, I can run a game there. I can run a campaign. That's how gamey it feels. It feels like a proper place to run your game. It feels like it's made for your adventure. And whatever you want to make, because there's so much that any idea you can potentially have, Mysteria can cover you. It's like, man, I don't know what I want to do. Don't worry. You can think about just about anything. And Mysteria would go, I got you over here. Because it's made for that. It's made for you making your adventures, and it's huge for that reason. Skullhorn is the same thing. I want people to recognize that when they get Skullhorn, that when they look at it, they can go, man, I don't know what I want to do. Don't worry. Anything you think of, there's a part, a place, there's a section of the world that will let you play that out. Period. No problem. So Skullhorn is a gamer's, especially a game master's gimmick, right? Like whatever idea you have, there's a part of the world that will take care of your idea. You're not going to be pigeonholed. You're going to think Skullhorn is so huge, and it is, that anything you can think of is covered somewhere. And so when I say it's a bit inspired by Mysteria, it was inspired by me noticing what Mysteria was, and then me going, I want to build something like that. I want a place that has so many locations that the idea of exploration is there. Like there's so much going on in the world. The idea that all this is covered in the world is good. We can go. Just the point beyond. So personally, and to this day, I say Mysteria is the best setting D&D ever produced. I would say I make that argument. I say it stands because no other setting is made for gaming the way Mysteria is made for gaming. So if you're just saying, oh, I'm running a campaign, and if you could only ever have one setting, if you said, Steven, I'm going to an island, I can only have one setting for a game, Mysteria. Every other one will pigeonhole you into a limited amount of options if you're true to the setting. So Mysteria, the idea of being true to the setting still doesn't put you at limits. It's almost like if you're true to the setting, and the setting's just going to tell you, well, you can do anything here. You don't have to fucking pigeonhole yourself into all these different things. You can do whatever the fuck you want. So you don't feel pigeonholed by Mysteria. And there's just so much goodness because it was just developed and developed and developed with all these fucking ideas that you'll just realize it's just like an endless loop of ideas for you to consider and add to what you're doing. Forgotten Realms doesn't have this. Greyhawk doesn't have this. Dragonlance doesn't have this. Ravenloft doesn't have this. No other setting, not Birthright, not nothing, has what Mysteria has for gaming. As far as I'm concerned, it's probably one of the best, if not like the champion, right? And if you don't know much about Mysteria, if you're someone who comes across this stream, my recent coverage of Mysteria is fucking good. You should go check it out. There you go. As far as Cyberpunk, I don't feel like it. Like there's such a limiting thing with it. I'll hear people the way they describe how people want to get into it. The players want to get into this side of Cyberpunk, other players don't. I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter what players want or don't want when you're running Cyberpunk if you run it right. Like if you run it the way the designer intends. The idea is you don't worry about what players want. Just run it in a certain way and they'll experience it. Yeah, on the Mysteria thing, Black Rose, it really is great. But with Cyberpunk, when I hear about like the way people view how players want to take in games or do anything, I'm like, it's like even like Star Wars. Guys can be generic. I've seen guys run Star Wars in like say the gray zone area. And they're very generic to the point where I sort of get why players might complain. This doesn't feel like Star Wars. Yet I can get the essence of what Star Wars is in my mind and then put in random stuff without sending you to a part where the movie is or deep, core stuff. And I could make the game feel exactly like Star Wars. But I don't even need to care about what you're into or not. I could just, the way I'll run the game is the way you experience it. Cyberpunk is one of these games where even if players said, I'm going to dive into what Cyberpunk is, but other guys just want to do whatever they want. Well, if 70 or 80% of the scenes just either you take it in this way or you play to this, you're going to feel what Cyberpunk is regardless to your approach. It won't matter if you're a player who doesn't care or a player that does care. You are going to feel Cyberpunk. Right? If I take you to the 20 or 30% out of that to match with those scenes, it really doesn't matter what you want or don't want. You're going to feel Cyberpunk. You're going to feel the world. As long as I run it the way the designer intends, all this what you want or don't want means nothing. The experience of what Cyberpunk is will be in your face, regardless to your approach. So you can tell me you're approaching it it doesn't matter. The world is going to be in your face. The setting for what it is going to be in your face. Right? So you can sit there and tell me, I don't care. It doesn't matter if you care or not. This is what's coming at you. You will feel it even if you didn't care to feel it. You will experience it even if you didn't care to experience it. Star Wars, I can make Star Wars feel like Star Wars in a gray zone. It's just not hard. I never found it hard at all. I've never found anything hard as far as getting a feeling across to people, right? I know how to plant things in, like if we're doing Star Trek, even if I got you dealing with you're like a random ship, like even a Star Trek group, but you have an old Star Trek ship, where the ship still sort of works like something from Starfleet, right? You're meeting guys who have like thieves who have dealt with Starfleet before. They might even have some gear. There might even be someone who used to be Starfleet who's now just a rogue, but the way they'll act, certain elements, certain behaviors, certain things you see that were stolen, items left over, whatnot. And every so often, Starfleet might show up with a random group hunting down certain people. You will feel Star Trek in what I do. You will feel it, you will know it, and it's how do I get you to feel it? It's just by making sure I make you see, like I tell you details. I'm used to creating an experience. I'm an old school game master. So I've been taught how to do this by other games, right? Through other game designers. And once you know how to do these things over time, it's almost like it's just too easy to do it. It's too easy to make sure somebody doesn't feel like Star Trek is just a space game or Star Wars is just a space game. Like I make sure to establish details, establish things you see, push things into your mind, give you visuals, have you deal with certain people that will relate to the thing, even if we're in a gray zone away directly from it. And if I keep putting it in your face, keep having you encounter it, keep reminding you of the thing, and I give you things like you get to a point where you got to do some similar things. You're like, you need to have a team go down here and do this, and you still have some of the old devices, from the thing. I will have experiences where you feel it, where you see it, where you encounter it. You'll see a guy, you'll do your lightsaber battles, even if you're not always fighting Jedi, right? Guys who have trained with a fucking retired Jedi who took off by himself became an old wise guy, and he taught this guy. So you encounter someone who can fight just like you, right? Like I will make sure you see it, you know about it, it's in your face, you'll encounter it, even if I'm not directly in the thing. So the idea that I can't make you feel Star Wars when I'm in a gray zone and we're not directly in something, that's a lack of understanding on the game master. I'm not even saying they're bad at game master. I'm just saying you're not doing enough to establish it. You're just hoping that it just works out. A lot of game masters are like that. They don't even try to improve. I've met them over the years where some game masters or some people in the hobby think you just improve by doing the thing. I'm like, well, to a degree that can happen, but it could take a long time. You improve not just by doing something, but you keep enhancing what you try and your ideas and your approach. So for it to feel like Star Wars, people need to see, need to talk to, need to feel, need to encounter. And that's all. You'd always have to have them fighting something or doing something. Just constantly see this. This acts like this. This reminds you of this. And the more you do that, the more it starts to feel like, yeah, this is Star Wars or this is Star Trek. Yeah. You'll feel it. You'll know it. It's a gradual thing where you're constantly running into it. I'm constantly saying you're meeting up with someone who was X or they dealt with Starfleet or something like that in Star Trek. I keep reminding you, oh, these guys stole some goods from Star Trek, or this is definitely a ship that was destroyed because it's military too. So you got to think they lose some battles. Sometimes that's a cruel reality that in military war, some ships will lose and the bad guys will actually win and execute all the Starfleet guys. But that means you'll run into a place where the guy still has an old Star Trek or Starfleet uniform up somewhere on some like things, like some dummy laughing about it. They'll still sell some of the old devices that people have not bothered purchasing in years, but you'll see them there. Or they're willing to trade them. Oh, you're humans. Okay, would you want these? Right? Or collectors. Some people keep them as collectors. Like, no, these cost a lot. So you might end up at a merchant who has some of the stuff. Again, you might meet people that were former Starfleet people. Again, you might be flying around a small ship that used to be a Starfleet ship, but it was found in the junkyard. You guys fixed it up. It still works to a degree in similar ways that I'll make sure you feel Starfleet, feel Star Trek throughout what you're doing. I can do similar things with Star Wars, any setting I want, create a feel, create an experience. I'm just used to doing that. So I've never had an issue about creating a feeling or a sense or something, like actually making you live in a world of that thing. So when I hear people that are telling me, like, I play a Star Wars game, but it really felt generic, like we were just people in space flying around the ship. Like, it's not the game failing as much as I would just say that's a game master. Even if they're good at certain elements, like they're good at the combat, they're good at running it. There's just minor things. It's manipulation. That's the truth. I'm just manipulating you with information. I'm feeding your mind. I'm creating an aesthetic. I'm creating a feel. And a lot of game masters don't know that small things matter in big ways. Like they don't really appreciate the small elements. They can be so busy trying to run the game, they forget to mention the small details that are going to establish a thought and a feel in your mind. They're so busy doing the interaction, they're so busy doing this, they're so busy doing that, that they forget to, in minor ways, establish things with you. And it's those minor ways that start making something not generic. It's like traveling in some games. That can be a big issue if you want to share lore or how a world feels. The world can't feel that way. You can't create the magic of feel if you travel here from here, but you're sort of nonchalant with how you talk to. You've got to put some attention on the things. Like you travel here, it looks like this, right? The sky looks like this. Like just let players take it in for a second when you're telling them stuff. Like it looks surreal here. Like you put a little passion, slight bit of passion, minor bit of passion into explanations, and then you create an atmosphere, a feel, a thing. But if you're so busy running the game, a lot of game masters get caught up in that, and they forget that things that seem minor are not minor at all. You're planting seeds. You're manipulating the mind, and it only takes a little bit with information. Like to create a whole feel doesn't take much. But if you don't do the minor things, creating that feel, creating that experience, it doesn't happen. That's when players will say, I just feel like I'm playing a space game. See, even if I bring in a new, say I'm doing Star Wars, I bring in a new alien race. I would have them talk about their experiences. Like if you meet a new alien race guy, he's not part of Star Wars, but he just making a space game. I'd have him talk about dealing with Jedi. So your first encounters with them would be how they establish something, then the Jedi wreck what they were doing, how they fight. So I would start establishing them with talking about, if I'm going to bring a new alien race, how does their part fit into the lore? So if you're encountering one of them, I'd make sure they were telling you how the Jedi took them out, how they can't just move over to an area, and even their own differences. We do this, and we arrived in this sector from long far away. And you think, from where? Who knows? That guy doesn't want to tell you. But he's established himself, and he'll tell you how they've dealt with other groups. And what I'll do is I'll start melding them in to what Star Wars is. Right? So they're just not there because they're from Babylon 5 or Battlestar Galactica. Right? Or if they were, somehow beings came from Battlestar Galactica, I'd make it that they found some weird wormhole. And they came here. And if I really want to establish them as being a group, there's going to be a little bit of lore, but then from Battlestar Galactica, I'd be like, we got here, and usually this is what we do. But here, we met a group called the Jedi, and they took us out right away. Our men don't even understand how to use these things. And he flop out one lightsaber in front of you. You'd be like, because he doesn't know how to use them, doesn't understand them. I'd make sure there is establishment to, and then maybe tell you how these other traders over here, this other group, really makes it hard for us to get around. Or we dealt with this group really easy. So establishing that the lore or the feel of Star Wars doesn't disappear. This guy's acknowledging it. Like he's like an alien race from Battlestar Galactica, but he's telling you how he deals with the Star Wars thing and how they exist, how they get around. So I'd start melding them in through that conversation and putting the seeds in your mind. So even though it's maybe a race from the Battlestar Galactica thing you watch, you won't feel like that's taken away from Star Wars. It will be cool to you because now it'll be like, okay, I guess, they're from that, but they came over here and they're getting fucked by this. Or maybe they're fucking something over here. They're actually fucking up trade, the usual routine of trade, because there's a certain group that can't deal with them. So the clash between them, I would hope to make that interesting to you through that dialogue, right? But it's like now I'm not. It's still not a generic space game. It might be this group from here, but they're still in the Star Wars gimmick. So the feel remains. Where they are remains. You're not confused that you're in some generic thing. But that first encounter with them has to be important. I have to acknowledge it. I have to do that to create that. So I can't just have you encounter them and say nothing. Mystery is okay. Mystery is great. The unknown is always great, but there's things you have to establish with people too. And so you got to balance out. It's like, oh, these guys are there, but you have them say nothing. Well, that's if you don't want the generic space game, you can't do that right away. So you have to go, okay, mystery is good, and sometimes that could be good, but first I have to establish these guys as in their dialogue. They come from this thing, they blah, 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 blah. I have to have that happen to plant seeds. And then maybe later, maybe even another campaign, the same players, if it's the same group, can now see one of these guys over there without him having that conversation. But initially, if you're a new group encountering him and he's not meant to be in the circle, I have to create something that takes some of the mystery away and plants the seeds in your mind so you don't feel like it's turning into a generic game. And I establish this guy's from here, but he's still dealing with the world of Star Wars, right? It's still going to feel like you're in Star Wars. You're going to feel like in that world, in that reality. So it's just not hard. It's just not hard at all to do any of these things. You just got to be patient, do them, establish them, plant seeds, and purposely have players running across things. If you want to establish a setting or a feel, the small seeds, the manipulation, the information sharing has to happen in a certain way. And you have to acknowledge it. You can't just leave things linger out there like mystery at certain times. You can, after a certain point, establish something, and then you do your mystery, right? So that's a great way of creating your Star Trek feel, your Star Wars feel. If you have purists or anything like that, have a talk with your players before the game. I'm not doing a purist game. If I want to mess around, I'm going to do it, but it's going to feel like it's Star Wars. And you just got to play the game. Give me some time to establish things, and if you're fine, you're fine. And in gray zones, there's enough lack on things. And there's not, like, I don't care what you say, there's not that many details in Star Trek. You're not stuck to too many things. And you can always limit what characters know. What about the Ferengi? Well, your character know that? No. Well, then you're only here for the feel. Does it feel like Ferengi? Yeah. Does it feel like you're dealing with Ferengi? Yeah. All right. Well, you know me. If you make an issue out of this, if you give me a headache about this, you're not going to be around for too much longer. So you decide, dude. I'm pretty straightforward with players. They know me as being someone who is, I'm good at, I'll establish myself. If you're new, I'll be very honest with you up front. But it's having that talk beforehand. Just have a good talk beforehand. Don't start a campaign until you've had the proper conversation. So when you get players that try to half-ass their way into your game, don't let them. Man, could I just make characters start? Nah, we got to have a talk, dude. But I just wanted to, no. And if that means you're not interested in playing the game or you walk away or whatever, go ahead. Until I establish something with you and have a talk, you're not half-assing your way into my game. I will not half-ass start a game either. Can we just like play tonight and go? No, dude. I got to establish stuff. We got to talk. So I'm very make sure to get it right because I understand that once you start a good campaign, you have players that all knowing something. We could play for months, maybe more than a year. So I don't need to half-ass my way into games with players. Never do. So, and I'll warn players, half-ass your way in or not. If you annoy me, if you like, oh, what about this? All right. Are you enjoying everything? Yeah. Well, one more one knows about this. I'll give you a warning. If you keep going on like this, you'll be leaving my table. Your choice. Either you accept what I'm doing or you leave the table. Like I won't continue gaming with you being a pain in my ass with you. So I'm very picky as a DM too, as a game master. My experience is as important as the players. So I just tell players, I have like if I hit a zone where I'm not comfortable with you, you have to change the thing I'm not okay with. And if you don't, you will leave the table. I will be removing you. I'll give you your warning. I'll be nice. I'll have this talk with you. But you bring this up again, and you'll be looking for a new game master. That's it. And that's how it works for me. I've had no problem filling my table for years. No issue at all. And I wouldn't care if it was a little tighter online. I just don't care. I'll go watch grass grow before I do something I don't enjoy. So I tell players like that all the time. I said no shame. I'm not that desperate to have a bad experience. I'm not into having a bad experience as a game master. So I'll go watch grass grow before I'll run a game for you. Yes, very strict. To me, your your job as a game master is to get your players to give you an opportunity. Then you do your job. And if they like what they're doing, like you've earned it through the experience, you keep them coming back to the table. If you're doing a good job and players are complaining, I give them a warning. Like, you're liking this? Yeah. Well, do you want to keep liking this? Yeah. Well, then bring that up again, which is annoying me. And I'm going to give you a warning now. Keep going down this road, and you're out of the game. And then there goes your good experience. Up to you, dude. Because this annoyed me. And I won't keep gaming with people that annoy me. Just number one rule. So I don't care how deep you are into Star Wars. I'll make sure that you'll never be able to accuse me of screwing it. You'll never be able to say, you ran the Ferengi wrong. No, you didn't. You'll never be able to say that I ran something wrong in Star Wars. Even the way I'll bring in that battle story, let's just say I've brought in an alien race like that. I'll give a backstory as to how they were outsiders that got here. So I'll never just establish them as something that existed the whole time and then recreate the whole fucking history of Star Wars on you. Like, I'll justify how they got there from somewhere else, right? But it's like, hey, do you have a problem with this? No. Well, to me, I warn my fellow nerds that play the game with me. If you're enjoying it and you have no issues, there is a point where it'd be wise for you to keep your fucking mouth shut about certain things. Because you can go ahead and annoy other people with it, but you keep annoying me, I'll give you your warning, and you keep doing it again, you'll find a new game. There you go. Have fun. And I have the nerve to actually remove you. So don't think I won't. It will happen. I'll do it like breathing air. Right? So just don't be the type that ruins a good experience for yourself. If you're enjoying it, it equals in this, because I'll be like, hey, you're being picky. That's a complaint. But you're enjoying it? Yeah. You don't complain about things you enjoy. If this is obviously what I'm giving you, it is, right? Yeah. Well, then what's the point of this stuff? Like, is this going to correct something I'm doing with the pranking? No. All right. So why are you hounding me about it? And just watch the dare in the headlight type of look that you get. They don't even know why. I'm like, well, if you don't want to fuck up a good thing, young man, don't waste my time and your time. If you want to go watch more Star Trek and get into it, go ahead. If you want to go lecture a fucking bad game master, go ahead. If you want to complain about a bad time, go ahead. But if everything's going good on my end and you're enjoying it and there's no good reason to bring this up, you're going to fuck up a good thing for yourself. Don't do that. Again, I don't do exactly what IPs, like, I won't take you into where the movie is and try to replay the movie. Like, I just don't do that. I just don't bother trying to replay exactly. I like the essence of Star Trek. I can create the feel, but I like the gray zone where it gives me some freedom to create a unique story separate from that in a way that's unique. Where I can bring in the NPC bad guy. I can skip the Sith if I don't want to play with the Sith, right? Or only if I have something good for you through that will I bring it in. And when I bring it in, I'll be careful, make sure it doesn't fuck up what you know. But at a certain stage, limit your request and don't be closed-minded. If I bring in a new group, I'll make sure to fit them into the thing. That's it. And there's some creativity I do want to have. And if you don't recognize that I don't want to run the movie for you or the TV show exactly as it is, if you tell me I can't be creative with an IP, you got to find another game. Because the second I can't explore my creativity, like the option is off the table because you're going to complain about being a purist, I will not run a game for you. I will kick you the fuck out. You'll be gone. Like, sorry, dude, I'm not religious about Star Trek or Star Wars. I'm religious about gaming. Like, I like gaming. And if I bring something new in, I'll respect all this shit. I'll respect the IP. The second you say, yeah, well, I don't know, I just don't like the new, well, yeah, you can not like it off my fucking table. And if you want to have something different, you go run it. And if you have no passion and you have no creativity and you just want to be some mindless fucking zone fucking zombie running Star Trek as it is, go do that. But I have no interest in you, and I think your fucking lack of creativity and you bored me in the hobby. I don't know why you're here. Go play an MMO and piss off. Or just go with people that aren't creative. I'm not interested. I get some people in the hobby. That's why I said I don't mind all the raw tournament stuff from AD&D 1E. I get there's a small percentage of people that do not care for any creativity at all, that just want to fucking play a game as it is without doing too much thinking. Fair enough. Go play your board game. Do all you got to do. Play your Monopoly with D&D. Just not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. So if I want to be creative, I just want the door open. And sometimes the creativity doesn't have to be a new race coming in. It could just be that we're in the gray zone and I still won't bring anything new in, but the creativity will be how I tell a story. I'm not going to be locked down to taking you to areas of Star Wars, the universe thing, and areas where I can't be free to have bandits act a certain way. Right? I'm purposely, and at least in these games, they recognize from Star Trek to Star Wars, they recognize you need gray areas where you don't got to bring something new in, but you're not so locked that you got to follow every rule over here or every rule over here. So I'm just like that. Well, that's good because I'm not going to. If I had to, I'd be like, if I got to a point in Star Wars where over here you can't do anything without these guys, I'd be like, okay, the game starts where, all right, the building where all their leaders are, yeah, it blows up. They're all dead. Oh, yeah, and they've been losing a war. Their army's pretty much demolished. You know how they rule this area and you had to follow the rules? Yeah, that's pretty much gone now. All leaders just got fucking died through a bombing, and their army has been wiped out. Chaos is going to ensue. Who knows what's going to happen here? So I would blow up your whole thing. Like if you said, Steven, could you game master over here where there's all these rules and you have no freedom to do anything? Sure. All right, let me start. Right, they get blown up. They're all dead. That planet gets blown up where the rest of them were, and their fucking army's wiped out. Now the rules are gone, and I'm going to do whatever I want. It's like Forgotten Realms. That's what I did with Forgotten Realms. I had Purist try to join the game. So he's like, yeah, whatever this. I was like, yeah, well, 500 years have went by, so everything's changed. Man, the look on his face was just, oh. You ever meet that guy who's ready to put a bunch of shit on your head, and then you just give him a detail, which tells him he can't? Because the 500 years went by, all the stuff he's talking about is gone. Or at least it's not the same. There's no guarantee any of that is established. So it'd be like, all right, Starfleet rules over here. You can't do all this. You can't do this. You got to follow these rules. All right. Well, they all fucking die. They get blown up. Blow up their fucking army. There goes their control. Okay, now I'm going to do what I want. There you go. Have fun. Now you're left to. Now I won't surprise you with this. I'll make sure if people talk me into doing this, I'd be just warning people like, just don't. I don't want to run a TV show for you. I don't want to have to know everything the director knew. I don't give a shit about this stuff. I'm a creative. All right. And not just in a limited sense. I don't want to be limited to telling you putting you through TV show episodes of very minor creative ideas. So what's preventing me from being more creative? I'll blow that up and kill it. There goes all your established guarantees. It's gone. I blew it up. Done. Next. So it's like Forgotten Realms. Again, they wanted me to run Forgotten Realms. I was like, all right, guys, you know what I'm going to do. And one guy laughed. He actually just said, I don't care if you run the Forgotten Realms. I'll play it if you want, but I don't care, because he knew. He's even laughing at me. He's like, he even came to me without talking to the other players going, so how are you going to fucking blow everything up here? I was like, 500 years are going to go by. He's like, he said, I'm not saying a word. I'll let you tell him. Because he knew what it meant. They had all fucking read about Forgotten Realms. He knew exactly what I was going to do. He comes to me before he even hears about what I'm going to do. He's like, how you going to blow this up? Like, he knew instinct because he had played other games with me. He's like, 500 years went by. He's like, okay, yeah, that's all gone. He knew right away what it meant. Everything you thought you knew about Forgotten Realms was completely wiped out. So anything you could hold over my head was eliminated instantly, like breathing air. So I'll just do that. I warn people. Want me to run Star Wars? Well, over here, they got these rules. Who makes the rules? These guys. Bang, 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 bang. They're all dead. Now what? There you go. Solves that problem. Now it'll still feel like Star Wars. I'll do all the stuff, but now I can just tell a wider story. This bad guy shows up. Well, he can't because they would have rules. They're all dead. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess they can't stop him. Exactly. That's why he's here. Yep. Let's go. That's why I've only met a small number of people I would call purists to certain things in games or something. But I just warn them. I'm a creative. Like, you just got to know I'm going to want to create and try different things. I want more freedom to tell a story, or not tell stories, but to give you the game. To have a unique emerging story out of what we do. And I want something where my touch on it is going to be different than the directors, different than the exact storytellers. And we're playing a game. We're not actually doing a movie. And we're not actually doing TV shows. And we're not doing episodes. We're doing a game. And to be able to have some fun and try some different things, I got to look at whatever is preventing me from doing that and destroy it. That's it. So it's worse if I seem like I'm going to run into this limited section. I understand. Even if I told you I'd be doing this, I'd be like, well, I'm going to make some changes to it. And I'll warn you before you ever start the game. So if you're a purist who just doesn't want to play, you can just leave. But I'll take all that away from you. I'll just look at whatever was limiting me and go, well, I can either blow it up or I'll make it they have no power anymore. I'll do whatever has established so much control over a thing that I can't do something creative. Anything that prevents me from being creative. But if you want to play Star Trek like the TV show, in a way, I'll give it to you. But I'll give it to you in a unique way. Like, if you put too many rules on it, it's like, no, dude. I don't want it to study or be reminded of all these things just because you know all this stuff. I'm nobody. There's very few people as religious as you, and most of the players won't care about all these details. If you loosen it up, we're okay, right? But if you tell me there's no loosen the story for me to be creative with it, we're done. We're done. Now, there's sometimes I could be a little unique. It could be like, but even then, I'll have like things happen to you. Like, what if you were with Starfleet? You have to follow these rules. Well, even storytellers doing the TV shows and that would break the rules so they could tell their stories. So it's like if we were going to hound on sticking to Star Trek, you wouldn't get Deep Space Nine. You wouldn't get Voyager. Shit, you wouldn't even get half the episodes you see in TNG. Because what do they have to do most of the time? Tell stories. They have to break all the rules of Star Trek. So this is established. Yeah, but here's the reason they're going to ignore it in TNG. Like, just more than half the episodes are stories based on them needing to break away from the rules. So to think the pure, like I'm like telling the purist, even the fucking people making your fucking show don't follow this shit. Basically, DS9 completely had to break with all the Starfleet shit to be able to do most of what you see on Deep Space Nine. So they have to keep making excuses of why they don't follow certain things. TNG, there's all these rules to Starfleet. How many episodes do they have to fucking break the fucking rules and justify it? But they do, just so they can tell a different story. I'm like, what? Do you think as a game master, I don't want to do that too? Like, I want the same freedom the guys are going to have over here. And that means I'll justify it. I'll make sure I justify it. I'll blow the guys up. I'll take the thing out. I'll do whatever. But understand, I want the same freedom to make my DS9, to make my stories from TNG, to do the Voyager thing where you're in a different part of space, right? Even Enterprise breaks all kinds of fucking rules that they're supposedly supposed to have. Go back to Captain Kirk. Half of the fucking episodes, if not more, are them not following what they should be doing. So, like, if you tell me all these established ideas are things that are going to be held over my head, tell me which Star Trek series followed all of these in a way for telling all the things they do. They don't. They don't. So I'm like, as a game master, do you think I want to be stuck to it? If the guys telling the Captain Kirk episodes don't want to be stuck to it, the guys doing the TNG episodes don't want to be stuck to it, DS9 don't want to be stuck to it, Enterprise don't want to be stuck to it, Voyager don't want to be stuck to it. Everyone is breaking rules to tell their stories. So if I'm going to be creative, I can't be stuck in rules. Even the guys making the fucking shows do not follow. Like, they'll establish, I mean, I'm not saying the rules don't exist, but they're rules that are constantly broken and ignored. So consistently that Star Trek The Next Generation wouldn't even be what it is if it didn't break the fucking well-known established rules of Starfleet. If DS9 didn't break the rules of Starfleet, right? I mean, look at the rules for Star Wars. Same fucking thing. All the things you think you know, constant attempt to break away from them or break them to tell stories. So when I meet a purist, I'm just like, dude. And when you point that out to them too, it blows them up too. Dare in the headlights look again, like, because they realize you're right. They'll be like, well, yeah, there's these rules. All right, but what they do in all these episodes, they did ignore them. Yeah, like they have. There's no way they can argue with what you're saying at that point. Like, you make them realize most of the episodes ignore the rules, right? Yeah. Most of the episodes on every show ignore the rules, right? Yeah. Most of the Star Wars stuff, even though they establish rules and order, most of it's ignored and broken, right? Yeah. And what do you think is going to happen here? I'm going to ignore. I'm going to break. I'm going to have. I'll have excuses, but we're going to break away from them. Like it's going to happen. It happens on every show. So, in a way, as much as there's rules for Starfleet, for example, with Star Trek, it's more common to break the rules in the TV shows than it is to follow them. Anybody wants to tell me I'm wrong on that, they can go ahead and try to argue that, but I know I'm right. The majority of storytelling for Star Trek, all the shows, all the different series, the majority is breaking the rules established of things like Starfleet. The vast majority. It's almost like the idea of breaking the rules is a rule in itself. I'm even telling guys, well, wouldn't you expect me to be breaking the rules? Isn't that more common practice than anything else in Star Trek? To not follow the rules? Like, isn't it more common to not follow them? Like, that's actually a rule in itself? It should be just, you get a Star Trek game, it should be like, here's the rules of Starfleet, but the most common rule is to ignore all these rules. That should be the most common rule, is to ignore all the established rules that you see. Because that's exactly what Star Trek does. So purists, they get wiped out by this type of reasoning. They don't even know what to do with them. I'm like, you know Star Trek better for breaking the rules and establishing them. Yeah. Okay, well then I'm not following that shit. Don't even put it on my head. Don't even bring it up to me. It doesn't mean I'll ignore them like they don't exist. So if there's rules that exist, I'm with you. They exist. But if I'm in the gray zone, okay, the guys clearly don't follow these rules over here. The trade just doesn't care. And in the real world, that's exactly how real world stuff works too. It's like you can have all these rules in the world, but you might go down and notice almost every ship going through a lane doesn't bother with them. And the guards, who's ever guarding doesn't care. As long as they're getting maybe a payment or there's no reason to slow these guys down, they just let them go. Rule says you shouldn't, but it's been so common practice that the government looks the other way. The people guarding the place look the other way, and you just go through. So to me, that's sort of the way I look at Star Trek or IPs or anything like Middle Earth. Middle Earth has a certain established way of being. Most of it's broken. Most of the people don't follow it, though it is sort of established practice in certain cultures. The individuals are the ones that don't follow the rules all the time. And in reality, no matter how many rules you think you establish, the guard looks the other way. Doesn't care. So it's, even though that's sort of established, it's not really. Like it is and it isn't. So it's more common to usually ignore certain things than it is to actually follow them. Again, once you reason out with purists that are in the hobby about this type of stuff, from Middle Earth to Star Trek to Star Wars, you're just like, you blow up their heads because there's no way they can argue with anything you're saying. It's all sensible and common sense. And it's more realistic that you break the rules more than you follow them. Rules are nice. Principles are more important than the rules themselves, though. So it's like, look, we break the rules, but you just can't have the place be blowing up. So it's like if you put a rule in to prevent something from happening, look, if guys can let you go by and the thing isn't happening, you go by. Right? Now, certain rules are well established where the principle gets broken without the rule. Then the rule makes sense. There's a great episode of Star Trek where Captain Picard has to stick up for Data. And just other beings. And he's talking about their rights and whatnot. And there's certain rules that are applied to make sure they happen. Those rules become important because those rules, without the rule established, common practice around it can be threatened. Philo, you get it. You get it. It's you can have the ideas behind the thing. It doesn't mean the rules don't exist. Doesn't mean the rules won't even be interesting. But when you actually get into the game, into the world, for you to tell a story, most of these rules will be ignored by many people, right? Unless a rule is so established for certain reasons. Now, some rules can be very picky, depending. Like it could be a new king is here, and he won't let you cross this area without paying your your toll, like what you owe here. You're gonna have a hard time talking these guards out of it. Uh, or you could even make it interesting. Sometimes there's a new guard there trying to push the thing, and you're like, "Hey, could we make a deal?" And you see an older guard over there. He's talking to somebody, and he hasn't come up to you yet. And you're like, you're getting hounded by this guy. And then the older guy comes over and says, "What are you guys saying?" "Well, we don't have enough, but we have like this much." "All right, give it to me. You guys can go by." And the younger guard is like, "Huh?" He's like, "Shut your mouth and get over there." Old guard says to him. You can make it interesting, where you think there's some established rule to go by here, but the older guard lets you go by the cheaper thing. But for a moment, you were dealing with the younger guard who was trying to establish a rule. So there's all kinds of interesting ways to play with it, and you can make it interesting playing with it. But the idea that you're locked into the rules and perfections and the orders, just absolute garbage. Lie. It's a lie. That's why I don't even see, like, what's the point of being a purist with Star Trek when the most purest thing about Star Trek is how they do not follow rules. It is like, if there is a rule, it's the rule to not follow other rules. Like, that is the most established. Same thing with Star Wars, same thing with Middle Earth. A lot of the main characters do not follow rules. They don't care, right? People break rules all the time. It's part of being individuals that are above the, what you call, like the masses, right? The mediocre masses. So if you're somebody in the world, and then even then, it's like, again, most people do not apply the rules the way you think in the real world. They sound nice. But the people that are really on the ground dealing with the rules are the ones deciding how things go. So you can establish a rule, but that guard has to enforce it. And it depends. Can he enforce it without getting, like, can he just let you buy in a little bit without getting in trouble? No, if he can, he will. Yeah, sure, God, that's enough. So I know that might disappoint a lot of these purists out here, but because they're so, when I meet them, when I reason this stuff out with them, it blows their heads up because they know I'm not wrong. They absolutely know I'm actually correct. And it blows up their position of, they want to be sticklers about something, but they realize they start, because they think being sticklers about it is more realistic to stick to the thing, only to find out that them being sticklers is actually the unrealistic position. Them being purist is the unrealistic position. It doesn't, what they're pushing doesn't hold water. It's good to know that. It's good to know that so you can talk to people. But I've never had to, I say I would remove players, but I'll be real with you guys. I've never had to remove a purist about Star Trek from a Star Trek game, or a purist about Star Wars from a Star Wars game. They're always happy with what I've done. So I don't actually have a history of it. It's just people know that I'm the type that would. I have had to remove, a number of players over the years, but it's just not that often. So it's just, I have no qualms. If you hound at me about something stupidly, I get at you. But I'll reason with you and talk to you before the game. So these conversations are very helpful to have before a game. It's why I don't half-ass my way in. And plus, I know games with me can last for a long time. So if you're some players out there in the hobby will miss opportunities with me because they want to half-ass their way into a game with me. And I just won't let it. I just won't let her, especially when I'm starting a new group. Man, can we just do this and jump it? No, I don't know what you're like, and you don't know what I'm. No, we got to have a talk. Because once the game starts, we could be here for a few months, and understand that if you annoy me, and then I give you a warning, and you keep annoying me, I won't just keep gaming with you. Not like other game masters. It will be you annoy me. Yeah, this one time, you got your talk. Oh, you're annoying me again. Get the fuck off my table. That's it. Game over for you. So you're in. You basically just wasted your life and time on this whole event, and you've thrown away a great opportunity. So it's better because games can last so long with me to make sure I establish that talk and not half-ass my way into a game with people. I just don't like it. Just do not half-ass your way in with me. Just bores the shit out of me. Just come to me. Let's talk. Let's take our time. Let's have a breather. Don't rush it. Don't give me this careless thing. Don't be like, we haven't even talked. When are we making characters for the game? When did we mention a game, dude? There's players out there that will be in this weird half-ass zone of just half-ass, and they'll be like, "Hey, man, be great. We could probably play a game together. We haven't decided yet." And the next week, even though that's all we've said to each other, they'll be like, "So when do we make the characters for the game? What game? Like we haven't even decided on a system. We haven't agreed to what the campaign's going to be about. Like nothing has been established, and you're talking about making characters for what? For what? What are we making characters for, dude?" So if you're half-assed like that, I'm the wrong guy. Just don't bother. I like to establish things. I like to have long, real conversations where you can establish things with people so they know where you're coming from, you know where they're coming from. Because to me, once I commit into a campaign, that can last for a long time. So then I understand how worthy it is, how worthwhile it is to make sure we get it right going in. Get it right going in. Take your time, establish things properly. Right. Doesn't have to be slow, but just be forward. Have the conversations that are appropriate. Then go in. Right. Have an organized way of approaching the entire thing. If people come up to you in some half-ass way to game together, just you slow the roll right down. Either you fucking want to have a breather, we'll establish things, we'll have a conversation, and if that's too much for you, right, go find someone else who wants to half-ass and have a half-assed experience with you. I'm not that guy. Yeah. I'm just not that guy, right? Order to my body. I'm hoping to answer most of people's questions tonight because you guys have only thrown a few things at me. I'm just talking randomly outside of that. I'm not doing speeches. You guys come into whatever you want. I don't care what you bring up. Remember, off script night is for you guys. It's all about what you want to talk about. So if I bring something up, you don't got to shut up and just listen, which I appreciate that you're listening. I hope it's entertaining when you're sitting back listening or you're busy or just get the headphones on or whatever. But tonight is the night for you guys. Like you guys can, and even in chat amongst you, I don't care if you talk about Warhammer. I don't. This is the type of night where little nights like that in chat or talking to me is completely fine with what you bring up. I'm good. It's all about you guys. This Thursday is the Temple of Elemental Evil. It is one of the rare things I did actually play in, right? So we will be covering that. If you guys don't know all the details of the Temple of Elemental Evil, I'll put all the meat on the bone for that. Oh, hey, yeah, baby comes first, man. Hey, baby, get some sleep, baby. Calm down, baby. Baby just doesn't want to sleep. I hear you. No, it has to be pretty late where you're at, so I can understand why you want the baby to get some snoozies. It's like 5 to 9 for me, right? Oh, hey, if you guys just sit back, listen, and talk, or me talk, that's completely fine. Paint your minis, deal with the babies. Uh, if your family's talking in the background, you got them just sort of back and forth listening to me. That's all good. I'm here prepping for a bit as well, being geography handicap card that I am. Yes, Mr. Norway. You and Philo, Norway people. In Canada, in the East Coast, baby, Nova Scotia, it's 5 to 9. It's nice and cool out tonight. We've had a few hot days, so it's been like rainy today. So it's like rained a bit today, but it's not like doom and gloom rain. It's like nice rain, like really cool. Right. So it's been a cool day. We're Nortards. After I get done the stream, I'm going to work on magical items for the Neo TTRPG system. I hear you, Philo. I'm probably done very soon here, guys, but I just wanted to make sure everyone had their opportunities to bring things up. I hope from Miles and everyone that I'm answering questions that you wanted to hear. Like, I hope it's not boring. Like, even bring up the milestone thing. I'm just trying to give an accurate picture to what I think is a more, and I think the old school way of actually doing milestone and levels is more common sense and nuanced, more appropriate than being sticklers about it, or just sort of giving that view is a good way of going, oh, that makes a lot more sense, right? That you might milestone every so often, then you might do this. But I love it. I always disliked how empty the map was, filling it with alleyways and shops and whatnot, jazz it up. No, that's creativity. That's fine. Oh, I hear you. But yeah, that's Zag. I'm 1,000,000% with you on that. Like, totally. If I had something that was where I still want to use that, but I want to add some things, yeah. What I usually do though is I do this number thing I was telling you about earlier. Say it helps me with a lot of maps or just not giving away details. Uh, Sometimes what I'll do is just say I have a map like that. I might put some markers down. Like I'll put one over here, two up here, three up here, and start writing down like there's alleyways, back things. Start verb write out the details rather than just throwing them out. But if you don't mind players seeing that stuff, hey, do whatever you want. Computer game. Yeah, I'm almost midsummer as well. It's midnight sun farther north. See the midnight sun for the first time, I believe. We don't get sun at midnight, so there's no midnight sun here. Yeah, unless you go up to like the certain parts of Canada, like really Northwest Territory areas. You go up there, you can have it. I think it's part of the year is darkness, like 6 months, and the other half is light, where at 3 o'clock in the morning it's sunny out. Cool. Norway sounds like, so. I mean, I've seen so many images of Norway. It looks beautiful. Sounds like an awesome place. Sounds like an awesome place. Most of Canada still looks pretty, especially outside of the cities. But yeah, if you get into the cities now, it looks worse and worse. But the beautiful parts of Canada are still usually outside of the cities, right? Further north, Stephen. I suppose to be cool, but I guess annoying for some because they really can't sleep. It wouldn't bother me. I know how to sleep no matter what. So if I had to sleep, if it's in the middle of the day and if I have to get some sleep for whatever reason, like I have to have a nap for 2 hours. Like it's like because I just haven't had sleep. Even if I'm awake, I can put myself to sleep. I can. I mean, unless if I'm not forced to, I can end up staying up longer than I should. But if you tell me I have a job and I need so many hours, I will sleep no matter what. I'm just used to making sure that I get the sleep for the job because I know I've too many experience in life being the guy who went to sleep for 4 hours, and I don't want to wake up to go to work for 4 hours. Like if I know no matter what the situation is, I can get like 6 hours of sleep before work. I will get the sleep, no matter what time of the day it is, no matter what the situation is. Moving the unlike, so it sounds beautiful, Philo. Norway is long going from the south. It should reach as long as the southern tips of Italy, stretching through all of Europe. It sounds beautiful. Sounds beautiful. All right, guys. Well, let's I'll hold up. I'll hold up for a few. See if there's any more said. A very long and thin, so it has very varied landscapes and climate. Same here, Canada. It gets cold too, but it varies. A lot of great camping areas. Most of our land is just wildlands. Like most of our land is wildland. It's because it's really hard to establish building out in certain places because there's animals and the way the land terrain is. It would just cost so much, and so even if we build a bit into it, it's more like just taking up the bit of wildlife that's around the cities or the edges, and we'll keep digging into that. But Canada is one of these places where, unlike say America or some other places, the 90% of our land is like forest and mountains, and it's amazing. Like it's absolutely amazing. We don't misunderstand each other. It's really mostly rock. We just got a lot of forest. Norway looks really nice. Not that far from me either. Zeg, where are you? I forget. Let's see, you make sure. I have to get used to places. Like I'm used to Black Rose and Philo always telling me Norway all the time. England. Oh, he's an English guy. Oh, jeez. I'm bad at remembering stuff. In Oslo a couple of years ago, I saw Earthborough. I get so many foreigners in the chat, right? But yeah, UK. I usually get the foreigners. I don't get too many Americans in here because they're usually in the circle of people that are mad at me. Even though, ironically, the majority of viewers I get that are like my silent audience is mostly Americans. So the majority of my subs are ironically Americans and American viewers. So it's sort of weird. I just get so few that will take part in the chats here. But that's usually because some of them they'll watch me and they'll sub to me, but they don't want to. I don't think they want most of the other people to know. I don't know, or put heat on them. Imagine my how many other content creators have people focus on people in their chat? Like you just talk in my chat, and suddenly people know who you are. That's how much attention I get from certain people. UK is more England. It's England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Bangladesh. Yeah, you never usually think Bangladesh when you think of UK, but you do think Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, and England. Yes, of course. And then they will get membership randomly instead of those people who are active in the chat. Yeah. I hope that Paladin guy shows back up, but I'm not even sure if he's part of my sub count because he the only reason you see him chatting that night was because I never had the restrictions up, right? All right, guys. All right, guys. Well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. So it's tomorrow night. So let's just make sure. Let's go over the episodes coming up. This Friday is Backrooms 2026. I'll put up a thing soon for that. Telling Mr. Black Rose. I won't give away spoilers that are going to spoil the movie. I promise. Promise. Promise, promise, promise. I'm just going to let you guys know what I'm doing. Give a heads up. So this Thursday is the Temple of Elemental Evil. Saturday is Prince Valiant RPG. And then Sunday is Deadlands, the game that inspired Savage Worlds. Next week is the second members only for this month, which I only do 2, a Hollow Earth Expedition. Hope you're looking forward to that. The next D&D one after Temple of Elemental Evil will be historical reference series. Trust me, that's like D&D related to the real world stuff. You guys might want to hear about that. And then for the last weekend of the month, which is the 27th and 28th, on the 27th, on Saturday, I'll be covering a conspiracy theory game known as Unknown Armies. And then I'll be covering another conspiracy theory themed game called Tribe 8 on the 28th. Right? So probably tonight I'm going to update the new episodes for July. So maybe by tomorrow you might see a bunch of them up. And again, I'll be... It's weird. Second. And then I'll be also doing the update for the Backrooms 2026, which will be good. I see you guys saying something, but just give me a second here. Half Irish, half English. Oh. Mr. Blackrose will probably be driving home late from role-playing game. I hear you. Should only take an hour or so, but it might also start actual drive after the stream has started. I hear that. Blackrose, so you can kill players early. Best of both then. There you go. You can't get away from that one. I'm one of the time actually, so it'd be the worst party's backstab ever. The DM would probably go off on himself then. That would be a little gay, maybe, if we want to look at it. Let's see. Nobody freaking out at me? Okay, nobody freaking out. That's good. Everybody's happy as they can be. That's good. All right, guys. Well, it is what it is. I have no response to any people that complained to my comment section today, as in English and Irish, of course, especially with today's recent events. They could be on 2 fronts of protesting. PvP is usually padded, and you won't play in that group anymore. That usually is PvP. It's sad. As much as people like PvP, certain games are made for them, but you got to get like good humored people that aren't going to take everything personal, which is not most people, sadly. Well, I actually say it's most people, but there's a lot of people out there. Just us chatting, which is all off script is meant to be: chatting, answering questions, shooting the shit, having a good time, right? It's closest thing I do to Discord chit chat on here, but at least I don't take long periods of saying nothing. I just make sure I'm talking the whole time. When guys have time to chat, we chat a little bit more casual. Everything Black Rose there. Yeah, Black Rose got it. Everything. everything. Having a fun time. I hope I answered your questions earlier there, Miles. I hope they weren't too boring, like your questions about milestone and all that. I just wanted to give you an honest take, because I actually think the common sense way of approaching milestones of like, hey, it's nuanced. Sometimes you will milestone a level. Sometimes you'll just give it experience points. That's really the way they did it, and that actually works. Like sometimes you do milestone and say, okay, for this level, or like say a bad guy or something like that, you'll put some, if you feel like they all got it at the same time, you'll give them a level. Some guys don't do milestone exactly as cleanly as you think. they'll just be giving you experience points without giving you the direct experience points. So just say, wait. Again, sometimes it varies. Sometimes it'll milestone you at level 5. But then if you play so differently from each other that experience points are earned differently, you might start hearing people level up differently by level 6. Like now it's just the fighter's leveling up before you because he's just done more. It helped you drink, Zeg. I hear you. Having some drinks, laid back, shoot the shit. Yep, that's what it is. It's just not like boring long periods of time without me talking, which can happen to some people in here. They'll sit there and go right quiet waiting for somebody to say something. I just like PvP. It's just worth. It's just not worth the headache. I would assume that's what you mean. That would be your 5% Viking blood. PvP isn't bad if it's not about fighting each other's character, like fighting for real. Like to me, PvP should be something where it's more like verbal disagreement, little arguments. It's like it's good natured in the thing because you're there to have a good time. Most PvP, a lot of PvP can turn into people being truly mad at each other in life. And to me, when PvP hits the point of 2 players are now angry at each other, you have defeated the purpose of PvP. Like in a game like Paranoia, PvP is. I hear you say. In Paranoia, for example, PvP is necessary, or at least not necessary, but definitely open the door. But that's when you have a talk with the players beforehand. So PvP isn't about real life anger at each other, right? The chance that you might backstab one of the other guys to get a hit in Paranoia is a game where you're not exactly playing as a loyal group to each other. It is a bit about you're playing together, and it's harder to separate. So the idea that you're all a solo play, you don't have to worry about that. It's not like the game just works for PvP. Aside from there is some PvP and lots of plotting against each other. It's a nightmare for me to balance out who knew what about who and such. My only gimmick is to tell people you got to make characters in some games that work together, and PvP has to be in good nature. The second 2 players are mad at each other, I'm like, okay, PvP is going to end now. You guys are going to sort out the problems. We're going to fix all that, and you won't be allowed to do PvP no more. They'll be like, why? Well, you're grown men, right? Yeah. I don't need to babysit children at the game. If it's not for gaming purposes and it becomes personal, it means you've lost control. PvP is something where you talk it out with each other. Meaning, you have conversations and there's no bad intent. The second's like, I'm fucking your character over. Like if you have an attitude like that towards another player, all right, that could have stopped right there. So you've just made it personal beyond the game. Either it's for a fun game element or you grow up and act like a real man. I will not babysit kids at my game. Right? Either it's you control the nature of your attitude with backstabbing. It's for flavor. If it's not for flavor, you don't do it. But I'll have a talk with players. My players know this. If you do PvP, it's for flavor, it's for enjoyment, and you don't enjoy just fucking each other over as if it's a real thing. Now in Paranoia, again, you can somewhat enjoy it, but the game is made for it, but it's also have a good laugh. So it's setting the mindset so everyone knows not to take things personal, right? Oh, that's to me, it's not so much PvP, that's just disagreement. But that, I mean, as long as it's not like backstabbing each other in unnecessary ways. Oh, they do, Miles, but you can prep minds for it. I've been able to avoid that stuff, but it's like I just tell people, if you are personally enjoying hurting that guy's experience, that's not PvP. That's not PvP for flavor or enjoyment of the game. So the second you enjoy that in that way, now if it's for competition, like in Paranoia, I tell guys you're going to be competing with each other. So yeah, he's in ways he could be putting you at the back end. So that's where you guys might want to negotiate and make sure you're not backstabbing each other, so you both can get to the end, right? But it's up to you guys. But it's creating the mindset where people know, hey, you still don't. It's in that game. It's meant to be a short run in that way. It's meant to be PvP in a way where you're like a little boom, but you get the right mindset, you can control it. Well, Philo, I get what you're saying. Uh, some, but it's just have a good talk with people, and then make sure whatever you call PvP is not. It has to be in good nature. Like what you're talking about PvP is not what we're talking about. Like I get what you're saying. He won't share. People are unhappy with him. That's I get what you're saying. That's not exactly what Miles means. Miles talking about like say PvP, like you might fight and kill the other character, or you're completely fucking over another person in the group in very negative ways, and then people take it personal from each other. You're ruining my experience, and I fucking hate you. Blah blah blah. That's more what he's talking about, like sort of a way of. You're talking about a situation where players are doing it in a nature where it's like I disagree, but okay, right? Like it sucks, but we're okay. I hear what you're saying. You got a good way of running it. There's nothing wrong with that approach at all. And if as long as your players understand it's for flavor, which it sounds like your players understand, hey, he's ahead of us, but it is part of the game. It's for flavor. Then it's to me that's fine, right? If I have players to take Arena Maze in Cyberpunk World, so they can have non-lethal PvP if they that might be a really good way of handling it. Like, hey, if you guys really have a grief with each other, here, go over here and do this like non-threatening version of taking it out on each other. And once somebody beats the other person a few times, like just don't turn that into shooting each other in the real game. Yeah, Miles, that's it. That's exactly where, like in D&D, most of it is stupid. But in a game like Paranoia, it's that, or like in Cyberpunk, it's not the same extreme PvP like Philo's pointing out, but I get what he's saying. Oh yeah, man. That's part of the game, but you get into the right mindset, right? And most of the time, when you tell people they can PvP openly, a lot of people then avoid it. But you do get some people that want to play. They think PvP means permission for them to ruin the experience of another player, not just compete with them, not do it for flavor, but to ruin the experience the other player is having. Those guys, in my opinion, they don't belong at my table. You want to ruin his experience? All right, you can go find another game master. I'm not running the game for you. I'll kick you out of my game. You'll be gone. So if you're here to ruin what other people are doing for fun, there's all kinds of places where you can ruin them. You can go. I don't mind. Like I'll go play Rust. I'll go play DayZ. I have no issues with games that are made to. Again, but it's a mindset. I hope when I'm playing against guys like Rust, it's gonna suck, dude, if I ruin your day, but it's meant to be that way. DayZ, if I ruin your day, it's meant to be that way. There, Philo got it. Philo got it. That's exactly how I take my shit out. Or if I'll tell other people, like, if you really have to have some heat with some people and go ruin somebody's day, go play fucking Rust or DayZ. That's what I do. Okay, guys, it's over 3 hours. Yeah, I hope we all enjoyed this. You know what? If I can, I'll jump on tomorrow night for maybe an hour or two and do another one. So if you guys are around, if I have the time, but we'll see. I got a lot to do tomorrow in the daytime, but if I really am not, because remember, I got a couple weeks here where I'm not doing much and I got no plans. So if I'm really fucking free tomorrow night, maybe I'll jump on here, talk to you guys for like an hour or two if you want to. We'll see how everyone's feeling. I might pop in. All right. But yeah. And there's always people that go into something with that sole purpose of being a jerk and then go all but brutal game, blah, blah. True. There are. Yes. Sorry about that, guys. I know it's like 3 hours. I got a bit of a headache, so not a headache from talking to you guys, just a headache. I got up, I burned 3 hours away. Tomorrow night, I'll be more ready for this. I was so busy today that I'm just sort of burnt out at the end of the night here. I need to get a better sleep. Get a better sleep tonight. Tomorrow night, I'll probably do another one of these. So if you guys are around for some more chit chat, I'll be loving it.